to make anyone wet. Let's send it over to the casters, DDK and James.
Pain time, baby. We are about to get into the first map here, which is going to be Cobblestone. Na'Vi have a lot of support behind them here. We wouldn't have seen the Russian casters, but the fans behind them are going absolutely bananas. So Envy starting on the T side. You might argue it's the favoured side. But look over towards A. There's already a super fast push here from Na'Vi. Seized and Guardian getting lots of information. Going to be a really fast flank if Envy aren't careful.
Yeah, Edward's there though to try to defend, and he's going to get completely destroyed there. I mean, quick frag, but that is going to be keniS able with that position to get 2 extra ones, meaning that now EnVyUS have a very nice position to work with. They can go either towards B or towards A from this position, and you can see Na'Vi are trying to do their best to just focus down those choke points, but they've not got a lot to work with at the moment. There's no grenades for them to use either to deter EnVyUS from busting through the choke points, and you can see EnVyUS just waiting. They're just using the patience, using the time on the clock, and a very interesting boost coming in here. NBK is actually going to run into Seized, and this engagement is going to be very important. Seized is, of course, very important here for Na'Vi. He's got to lock away NBK, and indeed, it looks like he might just be able to do that, but still, Na'Vi going to have to worry about that B hit that's coming now.
Indeed, Zeus is all alone. Zeus is now dead. The site's been taken. This is a disaster for Na'Vi. A very bad start indeed. Guardian and Seized, they've got most of their health intact. They can still do this. They need the headshots, though. Seized close, but no cigar for him. Guardian, the only man left now to try and smoke these 4 NV players, but don't fancy his chances. It's going to be a very difficult task indeed. And it seems he's resigned himself to try and get some exit frags, try and make a little bit of money as he heads towards an AWP in the future rounds. They're all going to charge him at the same time. Envy take the solid pistol. That's really awkward for Na'Vi. Guardian and Seized were halfway through their rotation when those frags came in towards drop. Then they started moving back towards the A site, but Envy stayed put, and then they didn't really know, Na'Vi, what to do. They ended up splitting up, 1 towards A, 1 towards B, 1 on the flank. So complete isolation, which just strengthened the numbers game for the Envy side. Very good start to the first half for them.
Yeah, and the force spy will come in now for Na'Vi, and we'll see the SMGs coming out for EnVyUS as they focus on playing an anti-force spy kind of strategy, and you'll see that making its way now down towards the A-long area. Now they need to use their grenades well to clear these corners. And quick peek from Seized there. Is it going to do any damage? No, keniS will deny Seized, and flamie's going to go for the trade, but it's not quite happening. EnVyUS taking that advantage, and Na'Vi can't quite get it back, but there goes flamie. He's in a very forward position. Somehow flamie gets another one. keniS going down finally, which actually gives Na'Vi an interesting position to play with. 2 players against 3. And let's not forget the powerful pistols that they hold, as well as some of the armor and the potential to maybe pick up a weapon. Is he happy is lurking? Will he actually find Edward? This is, oh, did Edward hear that grenade? Looks like he's going to catch the rotation anyway. 5-7 is out, but it's not good enough to deal with NBK, and it looks like EnVyUS will finish on the B-bomb site. Although NBK will make quick work of the last player. So pretty standard stuff there. I mean, I think Na'Vi had a good prediction as to the play that EnVyUS were going to go for on the anti-force spy.
Indeed, but at the very beginning of that, you have to give credit to Apex on long, who baited the grenades of Na'Vi by just simply firing 1 bullet at the wall there, which gave a clue as to what might have been going on. So little play there, which saved them a lot of damage. So going to be the second anti-eco here for Envy, anti-eco, anti-force spy. Just 1 AK onto kioShiMa. The rest of them going to have the moving accuracy of their various weapons. And he's going to be the point man. Crossfire, though, for the Na'Vi will be a good start for them, but flamie's going to go down. Guardian picking up a weapon, and we'll see if Na'Vi change their position. Envy rushing towards long now, heading towards the side, but pretty much the entire Na'Vi side is here. And we've got heavily tagged players on Envy. Apex goes down. More trades coming in. There are still 2 players alive for Na'Vi, however. Bomb does get planted. Seized Edward with no Kevlar, but they've got dangerous weapons. There goes NBK as well. The AK is still in play here for kioShiMa. He's going to be really important going forward. Kenny's only got 23 HP and a Tech 9.
Yeah, this is a little bit awkward, but that bomb is ticking away, of course. That's going to force the CTs to move, and that's going to give a nice advantage here into these engagements. kioShiMa, what on earth was that? Edward manages to find the frag somehow, giving himself a 1 versus 1 against an incredibly low keniS, but somehow keniS with 6 HP doesn't get even scratched by that last player, and he'll save the round for the French side.
That UMP ran out of bullets at the wrong time there, Edward going for the CZ, but the aim punch was too much. So Envy survive a difficult test there, an expensive round. But again, they only had 1 AK in play, so that could have cost them a lot more than it actually did. You see them now in the AWP with Kenny. 4 AKs for the rest of the team. No AWP yet for Guardian, who's going to be rocking the M4 for the time being. So we've got a 3-man long A hold here for Na'Vi, with potential to rotate towards the mid or underpass area, whatever you want to call it. 2 towards B, and nobody concentrating on the drop zone at the moment. Could be smoked. We'll have to see. EnVy with a passive start towards A. Just seeing if there's any aggression from Na'Vi, just trying to wait for these smokes to dissipate, etc.
Yeah, so now it's time to start making a bit of a foray, or at least the idea was there, but the re-smoke placed in a timely fashion will slow EnVyUS. Now, will they try to force the issue? There is still a lot of time to play with. Another smoke down by the CT side to delay EnVyUS and frustrate them yet further, as we might start to see now with these grenades. Oh no, Caesar's burning alive! He couldn't get out of the corner in time. Apex with that frag, and in comes the push. flamie's going to rejoin his comrade, and they might not suspect, EnVyUS, that there are 2 players in danger. And indeed, it's not even going to matter. Apex taking down flamie on the entry. Guardian trying to get the refrag, and he just barely manages to do so, but takes critical damage. His positioning is not too good either. But it does look like EnVyUS will halt the effort towards A. Entry up onto the B bomb site thanks to Edward, rather to kioShiMa taking down Edward, and the plant will be underway.
Edward there was holding the rotation because the bomb was not in a position where Na'Vi could secure it without losing too many players. So here we are, EnVy moving into the B bomb site now, but Zeus is in position to get some work done. Kenyas just unscoping at the wrong time. They know where he is now. Can EnVy get into a trade position? Down goes Kenyas. The bomb's not planted. There are 10 seconds left. They've got to find the bomb plant here. The bomb is not even picked up yet. 2 seconds left, and they're going to win. Oh, wow. They got it just in time. That's unbelievable. But it's Guardian now, 11 HP versus kioShiMa and Happy. There's a chance for him if he can find kioShiMa first without getting traded. kioShiMa with only 6 points of life, and he's going to go past Happy, it seems. The angle hasn't paid off for Happy there, and kioShiMa gets taken down in isolation. There's no kit for Guardian. He does have the angle on the bomb, though. Happy can't stop it from there, but 10 seconds is a very long time. Happy getting dinked, but he's still alive. Oh, there's an AWP. Guardian, he's not going to scope for it, though. Trying to just finish off Happy with a pistol. Happy going to the well many times, but not too many times. Guardian's going to opt to save the AWP here. Again, the lack of kit coming into play here, and EnVy survive again by the skin of their teeth.
Really tight round there. I guess you guys can probably hear that over the microphones. The arena here tends to explode.
I thought I was dying,
as as the bomb goes off. Very loud indeed.
It was all over.
And so the 4-0 is with us, but if you look at the economy right now, of course, EnVyUS, despite being 4 rounds up, they've received a lot of damage. So Na'Vi, definitely doing a very good job, and this is a potentially winnable round. It is an AWP in the hands of Guardian. Now let's see what he can do with it. There's a lot of pressure here towards the B plateau. Guardian's going to have to do some Guardian magic.
I wonder if EnVy are looking for a fast breach of one of the sites here to try and avoid that AWP, but it's really hard to avoid the AWP of Guardian. You saw those entry stats versus Kenyas earlier on. That's a great start by him. EnVy opting to continue the pressure here. That's a rare miss from Guardian, right in the middle of his reticle, and he could get taken down here, but he's going to be blind and take down kioShiMa regardless. 2 players above him on the platform, but the entire team is here. We've got Molotovs coming in now. NBK goes down, Kenyas goes down. How are they winning this? flamie with 2 big frags. Guardian gets his 3rd of the round. Only losing 1 player means they can pick up a lot of weapons in this round as well, which is really important for the CT economy.
I'm telling you, man, whenever you have an AWP in the hands of Guardian, anything is possible. And that's exactly what we saw EnVyUS, essentially with the... I mean, normally the way it works is if you give a chance to a player, then, depending on their skill, they can get, so much out of it. Guardian's always able to get a ridiculous amount.
They've got 3 AKs, Dan. And there we go. They've won 1 round, and EnVy are on the eco because of all the damage that Na'Vi did in the previous rounds.
We'll have to see whether EnVyUS can get a similar result as Na'Vi did previously, although, of course, they don't have an AWP. But EnVyUS pretty notorious for making insane use of these pistols. And they've got a few deagles which can work quite well at range if you manage to get that one shot to the head. Guardian get tagged in the side there. A little bit fortunate not to actually just get dinked and dead, no. But it's Guardian once again. He'll finally be eliminated by Kenyas at range, but it's all too late. The AWP will be picked up. The refrags have been made, and Na'Vi look pretty good for a clean round here, except the single loss of Guardian, which is definitely okay because EnVyUS don't have any money.
The sweetie man's coming, and he's given EnVy a sugar overdose. Anybody not hospitalized is Happy, and he's soon to be dispatched of as well. Great momentum for Na'Vi. Again, the crowd is fiercely by their side as well. So we'll see how many CT rounds they can accrue in this first half of this best of 3. Cobble was the pick of Envy, and again, NBK alluded to some facts there that Na'Vi aren't going to be prepared for what Envy have because they have a different style now. Because NBK is the in-game leader, we have seen a different approach from them so far in this match. So 2 rounds behind are the Na'Vi side. AWP continuing on to Guardian, but KenYes is going to be reduced to Detect 9 because he wants that AWP as soon as possible. Again, the Envy side concentrating towards A. We might see a faster round from them now. Apex standing to the drop zone, looking behind him. Still managing to find a frag, completely blind, but he's still alive. He's got support as well. There's going to be a lot of trades here, but they're going the way of Envy. Only 2 plays left for Na'Vi, but one of them is Guardian. C's getting the frag onto Apex. Man advantage for the T's. Soon disappears. Bomb gets planted. Again, and KenYes has picked up an AK now, but C's is not going to win the duel there, so it's Guardian versus 2.
Yeah, it's a very tough situation once again. It is, well, I mean, honestly, with the smokes down, even if you're Guardian, there's no way really through those. Very highly disadvantageous approach, but they will dissipate. And there's not any time left. He's just going to try to get the damage in here instead. And he'll have to back away, and he'll be caught by KenYes. So it was a doomed situation that Guardian was in.
I think he wanted to go back for the AWP there. But I was watching because if KenYes picks it up at that point, then his AK dropping would have told Guardian where he was. Unfortunately, he did, well, smartly for Kenny, he didn't do that, so Guardian goes back for the AWP and gets wrecked by KenYes, who will take it in kind.
So things are swinging back now for the Na'Vi's side, as they have to now deal with this next obstacle, which is the buy of EnVyUS. And once again, they're putting a lot of players towards the B side of the map. Drop zone and the plateau. They've got the AWP on KenYes, and they are looking like they want to go with a fast round, but like all the other rounds, the pre-nades are stellar from Na'Vi. Lots of damage, and so far they are keeping them on the plateau. EnVyUS can't quite get out of these choke points. Na'Vi are handling this so incredibly well, but even so, EnVyUS coming up with the frags, hitting the shots, but in comes Guardian once again.
Happy with that massive flashbang there. And he's going to get a kill onto Zeus, leaving Guardian alone once more. Guardian finishing off with the PT50. NBK versus Guardian, AWP versus AWP, and NBK is going to take it. All that scout practice paying off there for the Frenchman.
Yeah, they seem to, so far, early on in this match, they are perhaps trying to condition Na'Vi into expecting a lot of pressure towards the B-bomb site. We're seeing a lot of rounds where EnVyUS are quite heavily committed there. And there's lots of ways to approach that kind of a strategy. You can start with the default and create some obscurity, but for some reason EnVyUS is deciding just to completely commit and telegraph the B plays.
You can see some frustration there on the face of flamie. He's got his hand on the side of his face. That's not good. This is the first game of a best of 3. He might be having some tough times now. 6-2, 2-6 down, sorry, versus Envy on the eco here. Going to lose more rounds, but it's too early to get emotional. Got to keep your head in the game. We'll see if he improves with momentum. Happy taking some damage there, but done the important thing of getting the frag. You can see Na'Vi slowly moving away from B, including a flank from C's, towards the A site where Guardian's currently alone. Got a P250 though. He's got those close quarters engagements, but if he shoulder peeks here, Kenny might finish him off. Again, he wants those engagements to be as close as possible so he can get that one tap with the P250.
Now, it's going to be interesting to see how the recovery works for Na'Vi from this position, because kind of the worst thing happened and they were not able to stabilize. But look at this, actually sees as a sneaky position, not discovered, but might be a little bit too slow now. EnVyUS players should be looking behind themselves, but nobody's doing it. kioShiMa has no idea what's happening and what is hitting him, and now Seized has got himself an AK-47. He's looking for the next player. There it is, NBK. Aim punch will ruin Seized and his opportunity for that frag. And KenYes with a very savage flick to eliminate the remainder of Na'Vi and Edward. And decent damage considering what was held by Na'Vi, but they really need to get back into this one now.
I think C's reaction was a bit slow there. I thought he was going to get the headshot because his crosshair was on the player for a little while, but there we go. It will be another round for Envy. See what the buy is of the CT side. Indeed, Guardian's going to be back on the AWP. Has armor as well, which is always a bonus. That spray perfectly aimed at Seized. He was unfortunate not to get headshot there. He's got Happy looking for a boost from the CTs. You can do that stack on top of these stairs as well, and get any CTs who are jumping in that position, but obviously you are susceptible to nades at the beginning of the round, which you will also want to avoid. I think he's about to hot flash and peek there. Guardian gets one, instantly traded by Apex. Very nice team play there by Envy, and that will be an advantage for them because this is a map where even with 5 players, the CTs are very stretched. So now they're going to have to sacrifice vision of one area.
Yeah, this rotation is something that also EnVyUS will understand. They know, okay, we've got a kill. We know we have a predetermined idea of what the response will be for the CT side. So they've let them set up, and now they go for the push with that knowledge. And you can see the very important connector take coming in, but it's not going to work out. Zeus finds the frag onto kioShiMa. Happy's still alive there, though, and Zeus is quite aware that this area is highly compromised and there could be an additional player here. And Happy can provide some great support. He can actually lock away the remaining 2 players as the entries come onto the A-bomb site. There is one from Happy, just one player left to deal with, and that's Edward, and Happy's going to get it done from that window. Very nicely put together round there in the end from EnVyUS after going up 1 man.
The pick of Envy is working out so far. This is a huge lead. Again, this is a map where it's generally considered that the T side is quite favoured. But Na'Vi only have 2 rounds on the board now. They're going to need 4 to 5 at the very least if they want to have a realistic chance of mounting an offense on their T side. So this is not very good for them right now. I'm not sure if there's a pause here, actually. We will see. I think we would normally be in a game by now, so I'm assuming there's a tactical pause by Na'Vi. I can see Zeus' hand raised, having a chat with Guardian in the booth. I'm sure StarX will be barking orders as well.
And one thing to note as well about the very early aggression, which seemed to be repeated on the B-bomb site, was actually the fact that if you keep doing that, you're actually encouraging the CT side to waste a few more pre-nades than they'd otherwise want to waste. And the investment, of course, is some aggressive rounds towards B, but that can be quite successful in of itself. So, we've seen Na'Vi actually throwing a lot of their grenades towards that area at the start of the map, way more than they want to, and that's going to be a bit of a leak going into the rounds where they have a pretty poor economy, which is basically every round at this point with the position that they're in. So, EnVyUS, eking out lots of little edges here and there, and but I think it was Yanko that said it on the desk. That for him it comes down to the individual skill. If EnVyUS are on point individually, he feels like that's just too much for Na'Vi to handle, and I think we're starting to see some glimpses of that as well.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest issues for Na'Vi is that even if Envy are in a bit of a tight spot, especially on the T side, they're just so good at getting themselves out of it just because they're such good aimers that's an additional factor that you might not have with other teams that can cause massive problems as well. We saw a similar thing from Fnatic when they were playing on Cash earlier on, with Crims getting multiple kills in rounds, swinging things back into Fnatic's favour repeatedly. We see the same kind of thing from Envy, perhaps more so with them. So I think we're getting back into the game shortly, and we'll see what Na'Vi choose to do, how they can plug the holes in the leaking ship before they sink on this first map.
It's so annoying on this map to deal with a lot of strategies. It's such a hard map, like you pointed out. It's a map where it feels like you kind of want to have 6 players to actually defend this, on the CT side. That's kind of how stretched you tend to feel, and we saw that it could be very worthwhile to put that investment at risk in getting that first player, even if it's a 1-for-1 trade as a T side, because then the CTs have very hard decisions to make. But back into this one now, you can see Na'Vi's state of affairs. They've got sort of a quasi buy going on, more or less, just buying down to $2,000 or so around that region. But EnVyUS looking for the anti-eco play straight into the B-bomb site.
KNES looked away from A-long just as the CT started emerging, but it is a hell of a long rotation towards the other side of the map. Are they going to get there remotely in time? Guardian's currently miles away as this push starts. Na'Vi not going to give the frags to Envy. They want them to come in as close as possible to try and use the numbers game. And there it is. Zeus taking one down. Edward with another. Edward getting traded by Happy. But now he's got the flank coming in from Guardian as well, taking down KNES on main. They've still only got pistols seized with Kevlar, but that's all that's going on here. Guardian getting smoked off and flashed. They don't want him to get anywhere near that orb.
This is a little bit weird, actually. Guardian's going to be able to pick up that AWP, and this spells trouble for the French side. There's the flick. The bomb hits the ground now, as it's just Happy left. He's moving around the boulder, looking for an engagement, but sees will attack at the perfect timing through the smoke. What a round there from Na'Vi, and they will spring right back into this, and with a good economy as well, because that was essentially more or less a save round for them.
That's a massive round for them. They couldn't afford really to lose many more rounds, if any more rounds. So to pick up a round on an eco is massive for them. Again, they get an AWP for free. Just the timing there towards long. If KennyS holds for like half a second longer, then he probably kills Guardian then, and who knows how the round goes. But such is the nature of the beast. flamie going for an auto sniper. We have seen this from him on Mirage as well on the CT side. But Edward's coming in blind. As it's a fast play from Envy, trying to break the buy of Na'Vi. Is it going to pay off? It looks like it is. And NBK and Apex with 2 huge frags. And Na'Vi have been completely annihilated. This is the worst thing that could have possibly happened to them, almost literally.
And EnVyUS made Na'Vi look really bad there, but it's basically because their pace was so fast, and Na'Vi didn't quite... I mean, again, they cut a corner when it comes to the positional play, so that the positioning that they wanted versus the spawn of the terrorist side. It took them too long to get into position. You get caught in, moving to the spot you want to be defending from. And then as soon as one guy goes down on that B-bomb site, it's just hellish for the rest of the players on the defense. And look at the swing in value we're going to see, considering that Envy didn't actually have a proper full buy. But we'll have Guardian doing a little bit of extra damage here in the end, which is good.
You can see Apex picks up the auto sniper. I'm always a bit cautious about players picking up autos from CTs on the T side, because normally they're infinitely more useful for the CT players. And bearing in mind also that the NV side have just reset the economy of the CTs who just won a round. They're more likely to be playing close quarters engagements with pistols and the like. So the auto sniper is not going to be useful in that sense. So it may come back to bite them in the behind, although there are only a few rounds left in the half. And here we go, Seasoned Guardian with 2 fast frags. If they pick up that auto sniper later on, that could be a massive problem. Apex, so with the CZ, going to get off to a good start, and the numbers of the CTs are now thinning out very quickly.
Guardian's got to kill everybody. Here he goes. Nice shot. Apex is down. He's actually got himself a couple kills, so now Guardian can actually work from this position as kioShiMa makes his way up the stairs. He knows where Guardian is. Guardian does really need some support here, some distraction. He gets the shot somehow. kioShiMa goes down as well. And now Guardian can actually have the space to move forwards and take a much better position. And it's just Happy he's left, and he's completely screwed here. What on earth can he possibly do?
Guardian could even go into the tower for the ultimate troll here, but Happy's caught him in the corner, and Edward's quite far away, but Guardian needs no one else.
That's why he's the best AWPer in the world.
Exactly, and that's what I'm talking about. Apex got a kill with the CZ, but really, if you know your teammate are going to be on an eco, your opposition are going to be on the eco in that round. I don't know that picking up an auto sniper, even if it's on the floor, is the best decision, because it removes your versatility in that situation. And you can see Guardian saw the bomb go down here. He probably saw the bomb there. Oh yeah, you can see it flashing.
I mean, part of the reason as well that Guardian's so good is because it's his consistency, but also the fact that he always delivers in clutches, almost always. He has the highest consistency in clutches of all the AWPers, and that is so remarkable considering how strong the weapon is.
Yeah, he rarely overextends as well. He's always very well positioned.
Okay, so we're going to have a play from EnVyUS into the drop zone with pretty much everyone. The bomb's being left behind. Zeus decides to jump in. It's a very poor timing to do so. Now Zeus has to go back. He's got to defend this choke point. He's spraying wildly, but he can't quite connect the shots he needs to. Happy is going to be able to pick up a frag as well. But in comes flamie for the double to even the situation, leaving once again Guardian 1 versus 2 in a clutch. Would you have it any other way?
Yeah, it's Envy's best friend, Guardian, looking to give them some more cuddles, some candy, and some Belgian chocolates. See if Envy can position themselves to cover. There are, 3 places he can come from? There are 2 of them, and they need to try and get themselves in a crossfire or trade situation. Not sure if they would have heard Guardian there. He's got a smoke and a defuse kit. But it looks like he's going to look for a rotator before he goes in for the defuse. Oh, he just looks the wrong way when he's about to see NBK, and NBK wrecks him for it.
One thing to think about is Guardian has 20 kills. The closest on his team is 9, and the spread is between 5 and 9. Like the rest of the teammates aren't really fragging that much. Of course, Guardian is getting a huge chunk of the kills, but it's always from a hugely disadvantageous position, meaning that generally speaking, Na'Vi's defense is not working. Guardian's just being godlike. Guardian's being Guardian. So, I mean, Na'Vi almost lucky to have as many rounds as they do right now.
That's their last chance to get one. Did say they need at the very least 4 rounds on their CT side, which they've achieved that, so they get a gold star for that, but most of the plaque is missing. And need to try and attain the rest in the next half. But can they take this one? No one down for anybody just yet. Bomb left in a passive position. 2 towards B, looking for the... I thought it was going to be the stack, but indeed will be the boost. Although flamie can't really cross to the box. He's going to do it anyway. There's only one flashbang on the entire team, and that's such an easy place to go for the flash. Edward and flamie just walking down, getting 2 huge frags. EnVy are going to have to move really quickly now because they know they're going to be on the flank. But down goes Apex again. 2 versus 5. Can they do it?
Yeah, this is actually somehow working out for Na'Vi. We have NBK and kioShiMa playing together now. Moving forwards, kioShiMa is very, very close. Gets the shot onto Guardian. Now he can toss the smoke to try to cover the approach onto the bomb site and get a plant, but in comes seized. Denied by NBK. Now 2 versus 2 situation, making that a 2 versus 1. kioShiMa finds the head of flamie, leaving everything on the shoulders of Edward. But that bomb does need to be planted, and that's what's going to happen. And Edward actually has potentially a very strong window of attack here. He'll find the frag, and the bomb goes down. kioShiMa with 10 HP now needs to salvage this situation with 30 seconds left on the clock, and he does not know where Edward is. This is going to take a pretty godlike play from kioShiMa. A very, very quick snap. Edward looks for the peak, and there's a single bullet. That's all that's required. 5-10. Na'Vi somehow, all the rounds that Na'Vi got, it feels like they were a gift from the heavens. Because from a strategic sense, their game plan wasn't working.
I don't know how many 2v5s we have seen won in this tournament already. I thought that was going to be another one, but it wasn't to be in the end. So Na'Vi finish with a reasonable score here on the CT side. They give themselves opportunity in the second half, but first comes the pistol. But I have to say, EnVy's reactive play to each round that was won by Na'Vi was really cool there, the way they just basically rush them. Okay, let's break them immediately. Let's not give them any chance to breathe. Let's be standing on their chests, pushing their lungs down.
Yeah, that was a really big moment, you know, with the auto sniper that was picked up by Apex. I think it was Apex, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. To play that, and people do like to play that auto sniper. It's very strong because you can get all the shots through the smokes and so on and so forth. It's quite good at rush versus rushes. But yeah, so that could have been a pivotal moment for Na'Vi. But never mind, we reorient to the pistol, and a quick boost from Happy will yield a frag. But he's actually still there, and he gets another kill. What is this?
Well, Zeus has an opportunity to do. Wow. What a time to switch a weapon and still get the frag. Back to a 3 versus 3. The bomb is still in the control of the T, so we're rotating away from the B bomb site now, but really they don't have the ultimate read as to where Na'Vi are going because they have not seen the bomb. That's going to put kioShiMa back towards the B site. So just like we saw in the other CT half, we're going to have 3 CTs left spread out across the map, unable to trade. Although you might argue that these are the stronger aimers. Edward is still alive, though. We know how dangerous he can be on a pistol round. He's the nade man for the team here. Flashbang can go over the wall here. Very hard to deal with if you're a CT. You can see he's setting up for it. This smoke's probably going to go towards the door position. Just quite a big choke point. kioShiMa spotted players now. Flashbang still hasn't got in yet. Sees with a very patient tap. NBK behind the rocks, got a lot of work to do here, but he's going to get wrecked as well. After a good start, it's down to Happy versus 3.
This is exactly what Na'Vi needed. Exactly what they needed. Happy has so much work to do, and to get through the choke points is hard enough as it is. Then he has to find 3 players, and but he has almost no bullets left on his gun as well. He's got 15 bullets left, so he's going to have to be very, very precise. And Na'Vi, they should never, ever, ever lose a round like this. It would be a massive misplay for that to happen. And Happy won't even get any money. The bomb will explode, as perhaps as you might be able to hear in the arena.
My life flashed before my eyes, Dan.
It's pretty scary being so up close. It reminds me of the setup at Cluj-Napoca where they actually had the pyrotechnics as well, and that was something. That was something, all right.
Indeed, and this is also another grandiose stage. So Na'Vi off to a good start, the right foot forward on their T half. Now comes the anti-eco. EnVy, arguably the most notorious force buy team in the game. We saw Na'Vi win a number of rounds in their first half with limited utility, but EnVy are the masters of that.
Yeah,
EnVy were born in the darkness, Dan.
Look where they all are as well. Quick peek from Apex, and it is being slaughtered here by Na'Vi. Get a couple frags coming in. So far, so good for Na'Vi. The player's quite low, and a 1 versus 1 for Happy is going to go his way, and that's actually Zeus is very, very low, so now all of a sudden things get a little bit precarious, but it's all going to be focused on kioShiMa here. If he's able to stop the bomb...
Look at the HP.
Oh, they're actually going to go back now.
flamie and Zeus have 5 HP each. This is a very precarious situation, and that's a good start there for kioShiMa. Traded, though, leaving Happy alone. He's got a lot of bullets in that Galil. Zeus only has 5 HP. This Molotov could kill him. The timing is unreal! Not to be. Sad end to a story there.
Well, I mean, they got 3 kills, so that's pretty good. I think that's an acceptable amount of damage. And that's why EnVyUS is so dangerous, because they can always exert their skill with every single weapon and just keep the pressure on. And it's something that most teams can't do efficiently, because they just don't have the level of skill across all 5 players that EnVyUS do. So we're probably going to see more and more of this kind of stuff from them. And indeed, look at the buy that they've got going. In fact, instead of saving like most teams would, they are forcing it up again. They have nades, they've got pistols, and they've got the Mag 7. Oh, but the grenades are perfect.
So will these Mag 10s be if they find the right angles? Happy almost gets a 2-man, but he won't get much. Only C's going down. Great anti-eco for Na'Vi. Building bank is flamie with the Mag 10. The crowd are really enjoying this. Kenya's left alone on A with a 5-7 and no helmet. And there's a lot of places for him to hide. And Na'Vi are hunting at present. They have a few places to clear out before they go towards the bomb site, but they will want to exterminate Dan, like rat catchers laying traps.
Yeah, I mean, I really like, actually really like EnVyUS's idea behind going for the force buy. Again, you know, they are a team that are quite efficient with it compared to everyone else, but it's the idea that you want to kind of crush the enemy's economy immediately so that you can actually get the space to build an economy. Because if you get that reset in, you get a situation where the other team kind of has to do a double eco or like a force buy and an eco. So it's 2 rounds which you should be able to win pretty clean. And that's what your CT side needs. We already saw how much Na'Vi was struggling by not having the right weapons or grenades to deal with the offense. That's a really big deal on this map on the CT side. As mentioned, it's quite a T-sided map, so EnVyUS really want to start strong. Maybe Kenius can get some more damage in here. Will very much help, but he will be eliminated in the end, and Na'Vi will move forwards there 2 rounds away from tying things up. They're looking a lot better now, but the true test is yet to come.
That is the biggest lance I've ever seen in my life. I think it's a lance. If it's not a lance, send me a tweet. I love a bit of Mac 10 play, Dan. I am Mac 10. Na'Vi closing the gap now. Let's see what the state of EnVyUS economy is. It is in tatters. It's got holes all over it. It smells weird, and it needs a change. They'll have to wait. So pistols have been purchased by the EnVy side. The Mac 10s are gone for Na'Vi, going for the full buy, full AKs, full nades. Guardian, of course, with the big green gun. Passive start for Na'Vi, looking for any potential aggression from EnVy, who have pretty much stacked the B bomb site here with players in positions for quick rotations between a drop and the plateau. With Happy just around the corner. Always around the corner is Happy.
Yeah, he is, and looks like Na'Vi making the correct guess here. They've moved up a lot of positioning on A-long, and in doing so, they've realized, all right, A site is for the taking. The stack has been spotted more or less by Seized, and EnVyUS can't really get anything done here. And you can see that they had to settle on the full save, more or less. So money-wise, EnVyUS will have a buy next round, but the more important thing is that Na'Vi gets some more stability, and they get a situation where they can afford to lose players, and maybe even afford to lose a round, but still be able to get the pressure onto EnVyUS.
EnVy having 1 AK is, even 1 AK I think is not a good sign for Na'Vi. Although trying to hunt down 3 players across 2/3 of the map is a little bit awkward. But again, EnVy, they're the stronger clutch aimers, I would say, between these 2 teams. We saw it in the first half, and that AK may make a difference. We'll have to pay attention to how it comes into play in the next half. Good old tower.
Yeah, all the memories I have of that position. I mean, it's so useless. People used to just sit there as scouts in Publix in the old 1.1 to 1.6 days.
I definitely, Dan.
I think we all did that.
Did that.
I think we all did that. If you say you didn't do that and you played Counter-Strike, you are lying. You are a liar.
You might be right, Dan. So the gap is continuing to close, and there may be a big advantage in the winner of this round. Bomb starting to go towards A. Let's see where Guardian and Kenny S are. Bit of spray coming in through the door. So Apex getting a taste of EnVy's own medicine that they were delivering to Seized in that very same position. See Guardian looking for a pick there. And Zeus is going to just creep through the smoke. I'm not sure if he was spotted there, but there should be some sound cues coming the way of the EnVy side. You can see Kenya's repositioning, not wanting to get traded with the AWP. He's going to smoke off the position. So they know that they've conceded this area for the time being. Let's see how the CTs react.
Yeah, big push coming in, slowly but surely. They've got the Lurker, have Na'Vi and Seized by drop. If things go poorly, they can use Seized to try to clear things ahead of time. Or if they don't go poorly, then he can get himself some kills on the rotating players. But he's actually going back to his teammates here, and we will get an entry frag from Guardian towards the A-long area, but he's getting shot from the side there. What is happening for Guardian? He's actually going to go down to 12 HP, but he gets saved, so he will get the frag. And Happy straight through the double doors. He will go down, not much support for him. And now the choke points are locked away tidily by the smokes and otherwise, other utility rather, for the Na'Vi side. So nicely constructed round, got the entry frag, and they just were able to make the shots count. So pretty simple, but simple seems to be working.
Yeah, when that door is smoked off, I mean, that is a massive, massive choke point, even trying to go through it without a smoke. So it's pretty much round over in this situation. The Na'Vi will be happy for it to end here, looking at how tagged their players are. Guardian is so worth watching Guardian's POVs because the way he uses the map and the way he makes decisions based on his judgment of where other AWPers are, for example, or riflers, is just amazing to watch. Like, you can see him using the crack in the wall there to try and give himself as much vision as possible with as little risk as possible.
James,
Dan.
I think a bit weak came out. I was very afraid there. That was
Do you need a cup
very,
there?
very surprising. I still get surprised.
Production, we need a cup for that.
every time that explodes. I jump a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not used to it because it's not in time with the with it on the screen, so it's like
zoned into the game and says, "Oh, what's that?"
Yeah, it's shaking our commentary booth. But here we go, 10-10 now. Pair of 10s, poker time. Buy for both teams, full buys for EnVy, all the nades, everything. So that's going to be a plus. We're going to see another potentially catastrophic round for one of these teams.
You can see position. Oh, look at this smoke. This is very sneaky stuff, but these kinds of tricks is something that EnVyUS would be very, very aware of. And Edward is not going to be able to find anything just yet. Again, very tight positioning from EnVyUS, which is very nice to see. But look at this. Guardian wants this pick so badly. He wants to get the shot off. If he fires, if he pulls the trigger, it's Guardian. It's like he's going to get the kill, but kioShiMa with the perfect timing thanks to the flash bang of a teammate. And that's going to be EnVyUS with the first frag. So now Na'Vi've lost their picking player in Guardian. So with everybody in position towards the B plateau, everyone's going to pick up the AWP and try to continue where Guardian left off.
Na'Vi could go for a bit of an execute towards the site. They've got the smokes, they've got the molotovs, the tree position, etc. However, they only have one flashbang. And this is a site where it's just great to spam flashbangs over the high wall. But when you've only got one, that might be quite difficult, judging on the positions that are being held here by the EnVy players. Man advantage for them at the moment, as NBK is the only one to get lost. Got a bit of a split coming in now from the players, but kioShiMa is going to be covered by Happy, who's now going to reveal himself and take down flamie. This is a round that EnVy have to win. Zeus putting in more damage. Still alive, though. There's only 2 plays left here for EnVy, and there's only 20 seconds on the clock for Zeus to do it. I thought he might have burned himself to death there with his positioning, but kioShiMa will put him out of his misery. I think Zeus had about 7k at the beginning of that round, so we should see another buy coming in for the Na'Vi team. So there's more pressure to be had. Important to note that that's an important round for EnVy. If they lost that round, their money would have been in ruins, but they only survived with 2 players, which means that if Na'Vi can get a full buy here, they can keep up the pressure on the CT economy. And if they win this round, then who knows what happens.
Yes, this match has really come to a, well, it's drawn to a close as far as the deficit goes for both sides. We really have a game on our hands. We've got AWPs on our hands as well. Look at the pick attempts here from Guardian, just using the boulders to try to get some angles. But what is this great grenade play coming in from Na'Vi? Good timing, good positioning on it, and that's going to just eliminate NBK almost for free. Very small cost for the life of NBK in this round, as Na'Vi have now the advantage on the men, which means that they can scrap together a play based on this knowledge. But in comes the push into the middle. EnVyUS trying to hold on, but again, Na'Vi one step ahead.
Yeah, great trade fragging there. Edward taking down Apex in isolation. He just could not get away from the Na'Vi players, 4 versus 2. And Envy know what this means, which is why they are not leaving the B bomb site right now. We will see shortly, hopefully, how much money is on the CT side. You can see them just saving for dear life. So you can see, look, kioShiMa with $150 in the bank, happy with 1,700. Curious as to what decision they will make in the following rounds. Na'Vi will be 5 rounds away from map 1. So do they force around these 2 weapons if they can save them? We will have to see in a few extra seconds, an extra 5 seconds in fact. Dan, I fear we've got to brace ourselves for another explosion.
Oh yes, good call. Yeah, I mean, it's good that you said it because it does repeatedly catch me off guard somehow. I guess I'm not used to that level of explosion. But
what level of explosion are you used to then?
I'm not used to these levels of explosions. But yeah, this situation is interesting actually because it very much seems, if you look again at the CT side of Na'Vi and now the CT side of EnVyUS, that teams these days still struggle to find the proper solutions.
What are these guys doing? Seriously.
The proper solutions to actually get a consistent way to win rounds on the CT side. Brace yourselves.
Where's the explosion?
Oh, did it not?
There must be a big red button somewhere and someone's fallen asleep then. It's the only explanation. 11-11. I forgot what the poker nickname for a pair of 10s was.
Anyway, just to finish my point quickly, so the idea here is that it's all about the T side and having a really, really sick T side, being able to get the picks, play the default strategies, be able to coordinate very well, and just hold on the CT side. Force, of course, is EnVyUS. Would you expect any less?
So they've managed to eke out a 3rd weapon in the FAMAS. And we've got very aggressive nades coming in. They're looking to try and balance things out with their lack of weaponry, but Guardian has other ideas. Edward is just biding his time, admiring the walls there in case trades are required. Has no reason to reveal his position. And now everything slows down for the remaining NV players. What do they do now? The AWP is still in play. They've lost the M4. Perhaps NBK can pick it up later if Na'Vi go towards the A site and they can rotate in towards B and try and save to live to fight another day. Because if they get eliminated here, then Na'Vi may be too close to that magical 16th round for comfort.
Yeah, this is good by EnVyUS, just like going back towards B, just holding together. Na'Vi, it'd be nice to see their money at some point to get a real check on how much they can actually invest into taking down these weapons, because obviously if their money is very, very good, with the kind of economy that EnVyUS are facing, the value for them to actually kill 2 players is massive, because that will completely cripple EnVyUS's chances to win the next round, and they'll have to probably be in a save or double save sort of situation. So that has big long-term implications, and so you always want to justify the resources given up versus the outcome you can achieve. And Edward and Kenny, yes, just playing it a battle of patience. Now Edward's going to have some help.
Exactly. Edward could just sit there all day and wait for his teammates to come in and do exactly that. Because of that flashbang, where that NV threw to get to that position at that time, Edward doesn't need to do anything until his teammates come in. Now NBK's been spotted, so he's got to be careful because the hunt is on. Is anyone going to survive here? The AWP's not in play, which is really important. So it looks like NBK may save one solitary weapon for the team, but I have to expect the rest of the NV players to try and eco here. Because if they just keep force buying at this point, then that may make things easier for Na'Vi again. NV are a team who are notorious for their strength in force buy rounds, but there's a time and a place.
Yeah, I really want to see the money. Hopefully we get a glimpse of it in a second.
No, Dan, we must look at the stage.
We must.
For extended periods of time,
We
Dan.
must do that. We have real-life floaty cams as well, James.
I'm hearing smokes being deployed. One can only guess where that smoke might be, Dan.
I think someone else has fallen asleep, James. Not just the big red button guy. But here we are, we're back into the game, and we have, once again, 4 players from Na'Vi towards the B plateau area and the drop area as well, as Zeus is on the outskirts towards the A side of the map, just holding down a flank, and you can see the setup here from EnVyUS. They have the single AK saved by NBK, and the rest of EnVyUS don't really have much to work with. Happy is the next most substantial player with the CZ and the Kevlar, but it's going to be a tough one. Sure, Na'Vi will be running into the stack, but if they have the right grenades and coordination, it should be fine.
Exactly. Na'Vi have left nobody over towards the A site to stop a flank, which means they're probably just going to be all the way committed to the A site here. So the question is, are they going to leave themselves enough time? They've got the Molotovs to force kenius off the tree position if they know that proper execute. Seems to be coming in slowly but surely, advancing the positions. I'm not sure if Apex can see probably a one-way smoke here, but 38 seconds, I'm a bit worried then. I'm a little bit worried.
All right, also having the frags coming in as the players move in from Na'Vi, and it's looking like a complete slaughter of Frenchmen. Just NBK left now. He's got the AK, of course. He's been playing quite well so far in this tournament, but this is too much to ask for, and it's going to be the round for Na'Vi. They are looking great. What a resurgence from Na'Vi, and the crowd are loving it.
Yeah, there is some serious support here for Na'Vi. There's a guy who was a yellow jumper on in front of us going absolutely bananas every time they went around. So there we go. We'll have to see what the state of the NV economy is. I think now they have a tactical pause because the clock is not... Okay, someone's crashed something. So, well, at least it gives NV a breather. I'm not sure if they still have a tactical pause. I think they might do. But gives them a chance to just think about things, think about how they want to use their money, what kind of nades they will have, and what they want to do with said nades.
And the funny thing as well is if they lose this round, so EnVyUS, all the players have around $5K, and they'll be on their 4th round loss bonus. So if they lose this round, I think they're definitely force buying, because Na'Vi will already be on 14. Sure, they could save and have like a really sick buy and try to play for overtime, but it's EnVyUS. I really think they're just going to force buy if they lose this one. So this could be over in the next 2 rounds, I think, absolutely. EnVyUS, sorry, go ahead.
Well, it would have to be over in 3 rounds, I think, if the map score up there is correct at 13-11.
No, but I mean, you know, for example...
Oh, figuratively over.
No, I mean, yeah, because essentially the situation will be buy from EnVyUS in this round. Next round they have $2,900 left with the loss bonus, which means that this EnVyUS, with that much money, they're going to force buy to give themselves a chance to force buy twice and win twice instead of just playing off of a situation where they give Na'Vi 15 rounds and play for overtime.
Well, let's see what they can do in this round. The buy has come in. They've got quite a reasonable amount of grenades. Those counter flashes will be important. And again, they're going for a main take. This is akin to Inferno. And that is going to be a problem for Na'Vi. How do they react to this? It's not every day you see this kind of hold from the CTs. Look at them. They're rotating extra players over towards the A site, currently having nobody focusing on the drop zone. And Na'Vi playing passive towards the B side. Na'Vi have time on their side for the time being, but it seems they're concentrated towards A.
Now I really love this from EnVyUS. They're taking a massive gamble here. They're recognizing that they're quite behind in the grenades. And instead of going aggressive like we saw them try to do by rushing Plateau, which is a very risky and almost never works, they decided to go and start. This is like almost a TSM style kind of play where you kind of try to be a bit deceptive. You try to lure the other team into the spot where you're kind of stacking some players. And EnVyUS, they really are hoping this is going to pay off for them because they are cutting a huge corner because B is incredibly weak on the defense and Na'Vi is starting to rotate back towards the B side of the maps. And EnVyUS looks like have a good read on this. They are falling back into a more default setup, but here comes the play from Na'Vi into the drop area. This is huge.
He's waiting for the repick to come in. Apex looking for the information. He found the information. Cold steel to the face will be his information. And that's the B bomb site open now. NBK's in a position to do something. No, he's going to get shut down. We've got flamie lurking in the connected area as well. Through the wall, kenius will be dispatched of. So Envy have been eviscerated by the Na'Vi side here in a very important round.
Yeah, and I mean, especially if Happy saves this AK, definitely a force buy is what's happening in the next round. And EnVyUS are not going to have another good buy in this match. So there you go. There's the frag. flamie finishing off. Great round from Seized and flamie. And the question is, how are EnVyUS going to play the force buy? And of course, also Na'Vi are going to know that's what's coming. I'm pretty sure they're going to be prepared for that. So there's a couple ways for them to approach it. Either they play a very fast anti-force buy strategy, which is kind of like a quick set play towards the B or the A side, or they play really, really passively and try to keep themselves safe against a rush.
Deep nades flying in from the NV side, but Na'Vi will have passive positions to begin with. Counter nades coming in, but no damage to either side yet. So Envy with 2 rifles, lots of nades. Apex has a 5.7, which is always a massive issue. We've seen time and time again how powerful Apex can be. He's really good at getting multiple kills with a 5.7 as well. He normally feels like he normally kills 2 people rather than just 1. But we'll see if they can position themselves against a slow, solid execute from the Na'Vi side. The masters of the slow push.
And here they go into the drop area. NBK is going to be hearing the grenades, and he will also hear the stepping. Nice little pop flash there. Will it be good? Doesn't need to matter, as Zeus will go down. Zeus will take NBK down anyway with a quick shot to the face. And the bomb is now making its way slowly but surely towards A long. And all this pressure is felt by EnVyUS, but they're not biting the bait just yet. They haven't spotted the bomb, and they're not rotating out of A. Could be a key timing for Na'Vi to go in as soon as Envy move, but they're not moving out of position on A still. They've actually got a decent setup going in here, and Na'Vi are going to have to force their way through with the flashes. In comes Edward for the first frag. Second one falling his way as well. Just Happy and kioShiMa left now.
They've split the defense like a football game, Dan, and there they all go. The rope is tightening around the neck of Envy in the first map of this best of 3. Again, this is the pick of Envy, Na'Vi choosing Train, which will be the following map, but here we go, we're almost at the end. But again, this is a team you can never count out. Look at how the situations Envy were in versus G2 in the major, up against 3 match points, and they brought it back to take the entire series. So it's not over until it's over, and indeed, Envy will have 4 FAMASs and the Mag 7, and I think they've gone for a fast boost, or they're trying to. If the lower person's too close, then the upper person gets stuck on the ridge, which I think we may have seen some problems there. A fast peek, but no one down for either side yet. Almost a triple peek coming back in, but the CTs may just have to take the damage and move away with their tail between their legs. NBK down to 25. kioShiMa's taken a bit of a hit as well. Still got 2 Na'Vi players moving in towards A, and it seems they'll go for another attempt at a boost in the drop zone.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying so far for EnVyUS because they're running out of grenades. There's a minute left to play with. We've got 3, okay, now 2 flashes left, and there's so many nades on Na'Vi. They can easily regroup for a set play if that's the chosen strategy. You can see there's a boost in the drop area for Happy, so Happy can get a flank on potentially. Now if he gets a bit of a distraction from kioShiMa towards the B plateau, maybe he can capitalize on a flank, but it's going to be Apex in the meantime that takes the first frag, but Kenny S goes down towards the A-long area. So now Na'Vi have an approach in, and there's a 1-on-1. kioShiMa's going to win it towards B, and also that's going to tell them exactly what's happening. There's a flank coming in, a really huge flank from Happy with a Mag 7. He's going to find the engagement, but he can't make it happen.
That's twice now they've seen the bomb, but they're running out of numbers to do something about it. Look at the health of the NV players and most of Na'Vi. This could really go either way. Maybe 2 bullets are going to determine a number of kills here. Flashbangs coming in, but Apex gets the bomb down again. NBK taking down Edward. Zeus with 10 seconds to try and kill 2 players, and he may be aggressive here because he wants to die in the situation. Sees NBK shoulder peeking. He gets the frag onto him. And now kioShiMa, does he go for the frag himself? He really can't really afford to. He's going for the peek. If he loses his weapon, it might be a problem for Envy going forward. He's going to opt for the save eventually. Not out of this yet are the NV side. That's 1 more round in the bag. Got to take it 1 round at a time and try and manage their economy as best they can.
And you can see that they didn't want to get into this situation where they're playing for an overtime. That's not where they wanted to land themselves, and that's again indicated by the fact that they were force buying. That means that because if they didn't do that, then essentially they are playing for overtime in the way that the rounds would work out and how many rounds they would have to give away with the saves. So now it's, as you say, it's quite a hard fight back. And if it does go to overtime, I really have no idea who it favors. No idea at all. The only thing we can really say is, the teams will stay on the side that they left off on, and that's the only real difference, and that's going to help the team that starts on the T side.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would favor Na'Vi purely because they're on the T side, and if they get a 3-0 whitewash, then again, Envy are going to be in a familiar situation which they experienced in Romania, and who knows if they will be able to hold. But before they get there, they need to win a few more rounds in normal time, and I'm waiting to see what kind of money the CT side are going to have. It seems that the unpause has come in, so we will soon find out.
Yes, we shall. Now, 3 players with the bomb from Na'Vi moving towards A long. We've got Kenny S to receive them, but he's not got Norp. He's got a measly FAMAS. Frenchman with a French gun. he will back away. He's now on the run from these encroaching Na'Vi players as they get a lot of space for free here. And this setup is very committed from Envy.
See, the crossfire position has been eliminated with the Molotov, so now Na'Vi can focus on the other side. Trade's coming in. He's almost catching Kenny with a nade in his hand. He will get the frag. Man advantage now, and Envy are all behind the choke points. They need to get there as fast as we can. NBK peaks. NBK gets absolutely wrecked. Bombs should be coming down now, as Happy and kioShiMa have to pretty much force the issue here because they're in a nasty situation. There are still 2 smokes on these Na'Vi players, and with double the personnel, they will be able to put them back down again. This could hardly be worse for Envy right now.
Yeah, this is an impossible situation. They need real magic going forwards. There's the first frag from Happy. The trade comes in. There's more where that came from for Na'Vi, but still kioShiMa makes it happen. But there you go. Yorp shots will seal the deal for map 1, and it will be Na'Vi taking Cobble in this best of 3.
So not the result that people perhaps expected here on the first map. Again, Envy with a new approach, with a new in-game leader, with an approach that is not going to be necessarily expected by Na'Vi, but Na'Vi still managed to take the first map in this best of 3. Again, they took the pick of Envy. They'll be moving on to Train shortly, which will be the pick of Na'Vi. They've got a crowd behind them coming out of the booth. That's going to be a massive boost for them. You can see Guardian encouraging them a little bit, you know, more of a shy character, so he's not going to be going nuts on the stage. The crowd are running over to them as well, but they'll definitely need to go for a break, so I don't know how many signatures people are going to get right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Guardian factor is just undeniable, like undeniably strong. The only reason they got any rounds on the CT side was purely because of Guardian, like purely because of Guardian. Everything else was failing for them. It just had to, they had to rely on his superstar potential, and that's, again, that's one of the reasons why Na'Vi are always going to be contenders, is because that he can always be the guy that can just kill 5 players and just win a round. He can just win rounds by himself sometimes. So it's going to be quite interesting to see whether or not Na'Vi can keep up this form. Guardian, we know that we can, you know, he's reliable. EnVyUS, I still feel like with EnVyUS, it's a matter of time for them. The more rounds that there are, I feel like the better chance that they have to win, because overall, I think the skill is distributed in a better way, personally. And I feel like this series, all it's going to come down to is the skill.
Okay, I think we're going to the break, and then you'll be back with Sadakit. See you in a few minutes.
E-Gaming Bets. We accept bets on computer games online since 2011. Referral system for regular users and the first deposit bonus. Gaming devices store and the best choice of payment systems. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, Counter-Strike and StarCraft, World of Tanks and League of Legends. EGB.com. You know for sure who's going to win.
Extra CSGO skins. Do you want to win really cool things? Visit CSGOfast.com. Place your bets and win really cool skins. CSGOfast.com. Check your fortune.
Well, that one slipped away, I think you could say. Envy had them at 10-5 at halftime, and they lose with only 2 rounds better than that, 16-12. Yeah. Guardian was nuts in the first half, but let's get into more the whole aspect of what the hell went wrong.
Well, if you want to start from the beginning, let's just have a look at what went wrong for Na'Vi. They got absolutely run over in the first half. It looked like EnVyUS were playing their classic play style there. Nothing too technical going forward in the gun rounds. It was actually sticking as a 3-2 unit. We had Happy in occasional rounds as lurking and making things happen on the rotations. But in terms of like a tactical prowess from EnVyUS, they didn't have to rely on that too much. It was just very simple entrances into the bomb sites, making sure the trades happened, and it's completely shut them down. the problem is that Guardian, he stepped up absolutely massively for Navi. They only got 5 rounds in the CT half, but it was only down to him. I think he finished the first half on like 22 frags or something like that. And they only get 5 rounds, but it was literally down to him every single time. One of the most important rounds of that first half was I think it was round number 5, where he saved an AWP from the first gun round. He comes back, makes 3 frags happen for himself. And that's like the beginning of the rot. Then they get something on the board. They manage to scrounge together 5 rounds, and then you feel like EnVyUS have still won this. Like they're going to close this one out. And then EnVyUS, this is something I always say about them. Like there's an argument to say they win a lot of their force buys, but when you force buy in the second round, I have no problem with that. That's fine. They can make things happen with the 5-7s and CZs, for example. But when you lose that round and then you force buy into that third round and you're trying to get like max 7s out, I've got a question, like, what kind of calls they're making there? You have this huge advantage. You're 10-5 up. You're not playing the percentage at that point. You're actually throwing a game away. You're putting yourself into another double eco. You're never going to get the AWP back on board there. And for me, there's just EnVyUS playing against themselves on the second half there.
The first half was really confusing for me because on one hand, Guardian's going absolute god mode, doing everything he needs to, and what's the result? You barely eke out 5 rounds or something like that on the Na'Vi side. So it feels like, well, if it takes that much effort to get 5 rounds, I mean, this game's over already. But if this was Mortal Kombat 2 and not CS, Sadikis, then what would happen is right after the second half began, I would pop up on the screen when EnVyUS lost the first round and I'd go, tilty, because they just went mad tilt after that. Like, you could just see, that's part of why I think they were doing the force buys. Some people do force buys out of rage. They go, oh, I refuse to believe I lost that round. I'm going to do it.
Maniac should be making these decisions. They say, God, we've got this huge lead. Why would we start throwing this away and not have the economy to work on when the gun rounds start? One thing to note as well, Kenny S, completely absent that entire game. He did absolute. Him and Apex had an absolute shocker towards that A-bomb.
Can I highlight the fact as well that we talked about Guardian, obviously, on the first half. He didn't have to really do much in the second half because his teammates stepped up.
I think he got 4 frags in the second half.
Yeah, big deal. That's fine.
Exactly. That's what's so good, though.
But that's the thing. It was so hard work in the first half, but you have to realize if he hadn't have gone God mode in the first half, it might have just been like 12 rounds. And actually, EnVyUS would never had the problem, you know.
The point I was going to make, though, was Happy ended with 28. He actually top ranked. I think that was a big reason why they got their CT side. Remember, he's the guy that pioneered that drop lurk sort of position on this map.
Definitely, but I think the story of this map, or like the 2 horrendous CT sides by both teams, I don't think either team did something extraordinary on their T side. When you look at the half where Navi was CT, they won 5 CT rounds, right? Only one of those rounds was a full gun round versus gun round. The first round they won was the one Henry mentioned when Guardian had the AWP, got a couple of kills, and we had 3 more rounds like that, really messy rounds with a lot of running and gunning with the pistols. So they somehow scraped 5 rounds, mostly thanks to Guardian. We see that he ended up the game with 26 kills. He had 21 or 2, I'm not really sure, in the first half. As you mentioned, he didn't have to do, much work in the second half. But then moving on to the second half, first, like what Zeus did in the pistol round, getting those 2 kills towards the A side, again on Kenny and Apex, that propelled them, to winning that pistol round. And then the 2 force rounds by Envy, I mean, personally, I do not agree with that. But when you look at the history of EnVyUS as a team and the percentage of those rounds that they actually win when they force buy, I kind of understand them, because if it were any other team, I would be 100% against it. But they overdid it because they gave Navi, a couple of free rounds where they had the resources advantage. And then when you look at it further on into the half, it was really a story of Navi just, harassing Kenny S and Apex towards that A-long position.
The way they hold that area, it seems like an absolute mess. If they get any men coming towards them with flashbangs, it seems they've got no coordination, there's no crossfires, they're kind of bundled in towards the same positions. Kenny S is kind of panics and Apex is left isolated in that area. It seems like to me, like, we actually called at the beginning of the game, that it might be Happy OP on the CT side. That actually was what happened, and Kenny S was rifling towards that A site. And I just don't think those guys just have what it takes to actually hold that off and actually stop a team like Navi taking over that position.
And I'd like to point out that it was when Navi had 13 rounds, so the 14th round they won. You could see that they again took early control of that A-long, part of the map and mid and danger and everything. So Envy basically at that point rotated a third player towards the A side because they, Kenny S and Apex couldn't handle all that heat coming their way, and that was the round where Seized actually got the 3 kills towards the B side. So Seized actually did what we were expecting Apex to do. He single-handedly opened the site, and after that it was also some, good performance from Edward. And you're pointing.
That's okay. You can finish your point. I was just gonna.
I mean, so basically it was just the problem. They couldn't handle the pressure they had towards the A side. So then when they had to move more players towards the A, we had some great individual performance from both C's, then Edward afterwards, who were really good at opening those sides up. And yeah, I agree. I think that towards the end, EnVyUS was also tilting a bit because they just could not win around whatever they tried to do.
It's like if you were to sit them down, say you could pause the game, and well, you can do a timeout. I don't know if you're aware of this, guys. People keep not doing it when they get wrecked for some reason. That's exactly when you want to do it. But let's say you just pause the game and you said to them, right, think about this logically. You've got 12 rounds. There's like, let's say at this point in time, there's 10, 11 rounds left. Which would you rather have? Would you rather have 6 full buy rounds to get, you know, the remaining 4 rounds of the game? Or would you rather have sort of 3 buys, like 2 half buys, one that's like a bad buy but versus their max utility? You'd go, oh, well, obviously
huge risk, because that's my problem with when you have that huge advantage. It's just that risk against reward. It's not necessary. You don't even need to get into that sort of territory before.
And got to push us. Well, you make your point quickly. I got to start moving them forward.
And especially on a map like Cobble, where a B rush, as we saw from EnVyUS T side, is really something that's, you know, plausible and very, very oftenly done, and you cope with that, you battle that with a lot of nades, a lot of Molotovs, smokes, and you know, when you don't have those resources, then that's exploitable.
Round 5, Henry, you wanted to highlight. We've got that ready. We'll do this quickly and then start talking about the next map.
I assume that we've got the right one. This is where Guardian has saved the AWP. So let's have a look here. Yeah, so this is it. So Guardian, obviously they got wrecked on the first gun round. It's a very simple play towards B from EnVyUS. So he saves his AWP though. This is so important. I said to Janko, the fact he has his AWP, you just know he's going to be causing chaos here. His role in this round is to make something happen. He has to do a play here. As you see, the smoke goes down, he boosts himself up, and this is where the fun starts to begin for Navi here. They actually have a real chance. He finds his pick over the top of this smoke. He buys his time a little bit. First pick comes in, bang. Apex goes down. So right now you can see the terrorists actually panicking a little bit. The CTs have the man advantage, and now the terrorists trying to force the situation a little bit, trying to stay together for now.
The timing's obviously insane.
That kill, I thought that was actually a kill there, but yeah, like somehow he's staying in this position and staying alive. Another fantastic kill there, taking out kioShiMa. The problem is, like, EnVyUS aren't really reacting to this situation. It should be like, they've got the coolest where he is, maybe swarming him, but then it's just too late at that point. It seemed like flamie comes in with a double deagle, and at least, like, that's just an example of how many times when Guardian has the AWP, you cannot count him out of the round. They should have been aware that save had to come in there and not be facing one by one. They probably wanted to be taking it a little bit more methodically instead of just facing the open angles, actually just smoking off and actually getting through the smoke grenades with flashbangs and maybe actually getting something a little bit more tactical in place instead of just facing altogether.
Moving forward, we do go on to train now. I guess, Thorn, we can start with you. Thoughts basically going into this map? We know EnVyUS have been pretty solid, at least T side of it, but CT hasn't been as consistent, usually, though, a pretty complete package.
I feel like yesterday's game against Fnatic from EnVyUS has kind of like lulled us all into thinking like, okay, even though we've repeatedly said Apex isn't going to turn up in that sort of form, Apex doesn't even turn up usually close to that level of form. That's like his peak era form that he'll usually hit for one map. He did it both maps yesterday. If that doesn't happen, EnVyUS can still be the best team in the world. We've seen that at the major. They can still be a fantastic team. To win Train, I did label Train was going to be like the skill matchup for them. I thought they'd win it if they were able to outfrag Na'Vi, if they can keep Na'Vi's economy low, they can keep Guardian off the orb. So far, they did none of those things. They didn't do any of it in terms of the fragging even, and even their force buys were actually terrible for the EnVyUS standard. They usually get a lot more out of it. So going into it right now, I realize you don't just carry over entirely, but it's going to have to be a completely different EnVyUS. It's going to have to be all fragging. That's all that's going to win them this map, because I haven't seen enough T-side from them on Train to suggest they're going to be a good Train team. I don't think they are right now. I know Na'Vi's got a real good standard on that map, and I know their T-side is fantastic. And the thing about the Na'Vi T-side is, if they like spot any weakness on you on the CT side, say like you just keep loading up inner, they will just abuse the same strat over and over out, and they will just tear you apart. If you can't hold it, they won't go, oh, we'll vary this up. They'll just go, we'll do this 9 times in a row until you can learn.
I agree with that. I don't think EnVyUS can outplay Na'Vi on Train tactically, because historically, throughout Navi's history as a team, even back in 1.6, Train was their, playground, basically. So they really need to have a team talk right now, try to reset after this horrible city half on Cobble, and try to, get a fresh start moving on to Train.
Yeah, more of the same, really. It felt like, obviously, EnVyUS had this great terrorist half there, had a 10-5 looking really strong, played against himself in the second half. And for me, had Apex stepped up to the same level we saw them on the first day when they actually 16-7 Fnatic on Train, I would have been happy to say EnVyUS can take this one. But Apex, I think he finished with 13 frags in that first map there. It doesn't seem like he's actually firing on all cylinders today. So, and I still think EnVyUS do have a chance of bouncing one back. They can just find that form from the first half and get off to a decent beginning and actually get off tilt. maybe they can get back into this. But I think all signs right now are pointing to a 2-0 in favor of Navi, just by what I saw in that second half.
The fact that Happy also had that many kills, he led the way in the server, and then the 5 Navi players were between him and his next best player. Is this sort of the Happy lurk being a little bit too late, ineffective, baiting out, getting kills?
In general, as a trend, that is what we have seen over the last few months. Here's the thing. I only ever used to point out the fact that he was like a bit of a beta, in as much as when I was talking about as an in-game leader. Like when people use the argument, oh, if he got the 20 kills and he's the in-game leader, it's like he's not much of an in-game leader. He's mainly using it to set up his style. But he used to be very effective at it. I always acknowledge he was a fantastic player. Last few months, especially when he was in the end of his in-game leading era, it felt like the actual baiting aspect got a bit out of control there. And in this particular game here, this last one here, I felt like he had an over tendency to want to save. That's why I also don't like him having the AWP, because it gives him an extra excuse to save, to go, oh, well, I've got an AWP, I better go and save now. It's like, well, at some point, you have to have an impact on this game. Like, if you are ending with 20 kills, 20-plus kills, in fact, and we had no chance to win that game, something's wrong there. Unless we're just total trash, and they're not clearly as a team. He's not interacting with his other teammates there. He's not setting them up. He's not getting a kill, which then leads to a teammate getting a kill. He's just getting a kill, getting out of there, and that's not good enough. Like, he is a better player than that. He's one of the best players in the world, so let's hope on train he actually has a proper impact in the game.
Is that hit on him, Yanko, to try and jump back in, or is it on NBK to incorporate him back into the strat?
Well, I'm not so sure. I mean, it depends if they how did they change their play style. But from Kobol, it looked like not many of his frags were high impact. He had that round from drop, good CT pistol, and so on. But to be fair, Navi in the second half, mostly went towards the A side. He was holding B. KennyS and Apex die immediately. So I mean, basically at that point, the best thing you can do is save and try to win the next round. So I feel that for Happy to be really effective, you need to have Apex or Kio do their job as the entry fraggers. They need to force that rotation from the Navi players so that Happy can find, space to do his thing.
What's interesting is with Happy still, like speaking to Maniac, Happy still has full control over where he goes in the certain position of the map. Is NBK controlling the core unit of fraggers there, but Happy still has the overriding decision as to how he approaches each round. So it's not necessarily a case of how NBK can deploy him, it's how Happy is actually feeling each particular round. So that's kind of an interesting thought. Like, you still have Happy doing his own thing, even though he's not.
Well, that's actually the interesting thing about how all the French teams that NBK is in are constructed. What happens is, in the past, he was the second in command to the in-game leader, and he would always build a system with the in-game leader, but whoever the star is at any point in time, could be Shox, could be KennyS, could be Happy, the star always gets like autonomy. He kind of plays his game, and then the idea is the rest of the core has the team play around what he does. So in this scenario, Happy isn't the in-game leader at all. They just cut him loose. Like, okay, do your thing, be the lurker. But like you're mentioning here, it also, you can't put it all on him. In the end of the day, if he keeps getting left 1v4, he can't just try and win every 1v4. The other guys are going to do their job as well, and then it's going to come down to him. And then we'll see if he really is baiting or whether he is just saving because there's nothing he can do. Because it was hard to always gauge there. I thought there was a little bit over saving though.
Guardian obviously had a top game. We've already touched on that. You also touched Henry, and well, all of you essentially got to it at some point in time in the conversation.
I didn't touch Henry, but whatever the judge says.
We'll see what happens later.
The jury's out. We'll get back to you on that one. KennyS, though, has to step up and win that battle. On Train, this is going to be even more of an emphasis.
Well, this is one of the maps we actually rely on KennyS. Like Kobol, like I said before the game went in, I don't actually believe in him that much, and he wasn't even given AWPing roles on the CT half. I think on Train, he's going to be a lot more audacious on the T side especially. He'll be going for those picks towards main entrance, and on CT side, he can be a lot more dynamic as well. Be interesting to see how he actually approaching now with KennyS. I think he needs that confidence. He needs to be feeling it. Obviously, like we talked about that performance at ESL 1 and stuff like that. Once you see him get into that ride, it's very unlikely he's going to get out of it. So whether Maniac can kind of pick him up and make sure he gets back into this series is yet to be seen, but hopefully Train's a better playing field for him to actually get into this one.
That was really apparent in the second half of this game. You can see just on that A-long position, you can see just Guardian peeking him. KennyS was waiting for him. Guardian still gets the kill, and as Maniac pointed out, we know that KennyS is a momentum-based player. As you just pointed out, if he gets into a rut, then it's hard for him to get out of it. So he needs a good start on Train in order to be effective.
Knife round has just begun now, so let's get into predictions. Are we sticking? Are we swapping? What do we got?
Well, I said 2-0 EnVyUS. Obviously, that's gone out the window now. So I'm going to say, just based on current form, I'm going to say Navi take this one. It's going to be 2-0 in their favor, but hopefully EnVyUS can come back out. I'd love to see 3 maps, so let's say Navi will win, but I'd like to see 3.
I'm sticking with 2-0 for Navi.
I don't think EnVyUS will get wrecked this time, but I think it's going to be a Na'Vi 2-0. They're going to close it out.
Well, we have had a swap in opinion, a change of heart on the panel. Of course, Thorn doesn't have a heart, but everyone else does. Let's turn it back into the game. It's going to be James and DDK.
Hello, kind people of the internet. It is time for Train. Dan, what are your thoughts on this match?
It's a hard one, I've got to say. I feel like I want to favor EnVyUS based on what we saw from them recently, because some of the setups that they were running and the proficiency in which they were doing it under the new rule of NBK, I feel like it's a good look for them. I feel like it's a really good look for them, and I'm excited to watch them play it. It was a masterclass of Train, what they showed us previously. Na'Vi are definitely one of the quintessential Train teams, but at the same time, I feel like today, for me, the skill of EnVyUS is going to win. KennyS is a bit of an issue maybe if he can't get firing on all cylinders, but that said, it's more about NBK, and it's more about players like Happy, in my opinion, in this one.
All right, well, we are about to get into things. I think the ready ups indeed. I can see the countdown there, which means we're going to see the countdown in the venue very soon as well, which I think starts in the buy round actually. I'm curious as to whether the CTs will opt to buy defuse kit on this match. There we go. This base is shaking our stage. Hopefully everyone's alive when we go into the game, Dan.
Oh yeah.
There we go. They've mastered it now. Marvelous. All right, let's see the buy of these two teams. As Na'Vi will start on the T side, moving towards the bomb site, and indeed, we will see a defuse kit on the NV side with 2 towards Ivy. We'll see if they go for any fast aggression there. Only NBK, he's heard the sounds of the players coming towards B. He's going to move backwards, and Happy's going to rotate into the side as well, with Apex there if needed. Na'Vi not stopping. There's no breaks on this train.
Big push indeed. Na'Vi going straight down the yard now, trying to meet the CTs and stop their approach as the bomb is now planted in the back, as we have Zeus and Edward pulling out some great kills. And it's not looking too good here for the French side. Get some peeks there from KennyS, but he just needs to connect him with a headshot. Finally, he'll do it. Doesn't lose too much health, but there's still 3 players where that came from. And more importantly, the combo of the Molotov and the flash on seized is basically just going to end. It would be the GG button. Even if kioShiMa gets both kills, Seized is there to always save it. And it's going to be Seized with the frag, in fact, as Na'Vi win the round.
An important first round for the Na'Vi side. 1 round up, 1 game up. Going to hopefully see some MAC-10s coming out here. Should be useful in the close quarters to spam the French faces of the EnVyUS side if they are to prove successful. One will expect Envy to be going for the force. And those CZs, those P50s, those 5.7s on players such as Apex will be really handy on the A sites where they've put most of their players. All those close quarters engagements could go their way. Na'Vi perhaps reading this, going to try and avoid playing to the strengths of Envy. Currently over towards the B bomb site, but you never really know where Na'Vi are going to go until they go. Because when they go in, Dan, they go in.
So we got the push coming now as one player is close, and it's going to be NBK. The trade is immediate. Oh, that's a nice shot there at range from KennyS. The mini sniper in that Deagle. And Apex is getting himself up close, but he's going to run out of bullets here. This is absolute madness. No idea what's happening right now. Apex and KennyS finding a lot of kills. And now it's going to be just Guardian left with the AK-47 versus 2 players. Great snap there onto Kenny. But now kioShiMa is left alive. He's got a scout, and only 1 bullet is required on any part of Guardian to take him out with that scout. So this is a very dangerous kioShiMa, especially on a map like Train. Guardian can have no idea exactly where he's going to be coming from, and kioShiMa knows that Guardian has to try and get the bomb down. The only commodity that Guardian really has going for him at the moment is the time, and you can see he's taking it a little bit slower, and that is the value of that time. But here comes kioShiMa, slowly but surely, all the way from the back of the train yard.
I was going to say, it's an opportunity for him to try and salvage one of the other weapons that may have fallen down, but he's going to opt with the range of the scout. He should probably hear that bomb going down, and now Guardian has to make the right decision here because, again, as you said, Dan, Guardian with only 40 HP, even if he gets shot in the toe, he's probably going to die in this situation. But he's managed to put himself in a nice situation where he's actually flanked kioShiMa, unbeknownst to him. So he knows his back is safe for maybe the next 10 seconds. kioShiMa going for the fake now is surely going to get taken down. The spray coming in. And you can see Guardian
Yeah.
taking a sigh of relief. He didn't even want to try and like aim for the one tap on the head. Just wanted to try and kill him with the spray as soon as possible. We saw that fail actually for Seas in the previous match of this weekend, but Guardian makes it work.
Yeah, I mean, Guardian looks. I mean, usually he looks really pumped up, really focused, really stone cold. But there you could definitely see that, as you said, the emotion that is, the relief, the alleviance of the tension. And now he has the AWP as a reward, and what a reward, what a bounty it is. As we have Na'Vi setting up to get some pressure and some picks into the A bomb side, but it is a force buy, and they know that EnVyUS will be doing this. So it's all about Na'Vi just setting up the correct round to deal with these pistols.
Second round AWP, not something you see every day. Sorry, third round AWP, but this might be one of the better maps for it because of the ranges and the channels. The AK's coming in first. The UMP onto Edward. Can't get the job done onto Apex, but Apex will be traded by Zeus. He's got himself 2 frags so far. flamie's got to be careful. Only has 3 HP, and there's still 2 players here for Envy. And who knows what might happen if they pick up themselves a gun. flamie's going to spot, going to tag, not going to frag. And he'll have to rely on his teammates to try and keep him secure for the time being. Sees perhaps spotting ahead towards Connector. He's going to go for the plant with his teammates in position to cover this half of the bomb site. So, Envy plays on the wrong side of a choke point. What are they going to opt for? NBK, I wonder if he could be heard by Zeus running. Indeed he can. You can see Zeus immediately 180 and going into dog, positioning himself. He's going up the ladder actually before NBK can even get into position. Going for the hunt, and NBK will hear that in return. So these two will dance around that area while Happy is in CT spawn, perhaps waiting for an exit frag, waiting to steal a gun.
Yeah, indeed, it's pretty horrible situation for EnVyUS. Again, you know, train kind of like Cobble in many ways. You can't really do much insofar as aggression. I mean, the play is somewhat limited. You want to be able to get. You need all the weapons and all the grenades basically. You need to be able to slow down the T's out of choke points and make their approaches weaker through that, instead of pressure and information plays, and they're much more difficult.
I want to say really quickly, you saw Zeus holding the angle there above the pop dog, trying to find the NBK, but you saw Guardian took a shot through the wall actually. Obviously he's at risk of shooting Zeus there, but Zeus would have probably told him to just go far left. Try and bait NBK into thinking that no one's there and go for the peak. So nice little bit of teamwork there from Na'Vi.
Yeah, now it's full save from EnVyUS, and this should be an easier one for Na'Vi. Of course, we do have the leftover on Happy. NBK's got a P250 in a nice position if the people of Na'Vi decide to move through Pop Dog first, but if they do decide to attack the yard, you would expect the coordination from both positions, which should eliminate any strength of NBK's position there that's forward. And I can see kioShiMa with a bit of a spot there, and it's all a matter of time until Na'Vi decide to go in, and we have a smoke planted by Seized onto the alley position to make the CT's lives a little bit harder. They have no idea exactly what the true intentions are of Na'Vi. So here is the movement towards the inner site now from Na'Vi. This is, it appears this is where they want to finish their push, where they want to finish the round on this B site. And they have the nades that they're going to be setting up to do just that. Here's some cursory smokes and flashbangs to get them onto the plants.
NBK will have heard those jumps down the stairs, so let's see if he can go for a fast flank as Na'Vi will try to push to the other end of the site. That flash is going to be perfectly timed, but Edward is just about going to survive and win that duel. The flank of NBK is cancelled out, but the one of Kenyes will be successful for a second or two. Only one player lost in that exchange for Na'Vi, so they're not going to be too worried about that. Now we should see a buy coming in for Envy. 4-0, not a good start for them.
No, absolutely not. And, you know, live by the sword, die by the sword is very much the motto of EnVyUS, and the way that they decide to go with, you know, with their force buys. Some would say, you know, all in plays, they want to prioritize pressure. And even though, you know, it's against the odds a little bit, they want to just keep the pressure on at all times. And actually on the top level, I think there's a lot of arguments for that. But anyway, we have double AWP straight up from EnVyUS on their first big buy.
It's a double naked AWP. Neither player has any Kevlar whatsoever, so they're going to be very susceptible to nades. Hopefully for them, they'll be playing the ranged game. But if they're over towards IB, then that might be a bit dangerous. Currently, it's kioShiMa and Kenyes over there. Fortunately for them, there's no Na'Vi players. Unfortunately for them, the Na'Vi players are concentrating towards B, where there's only NBK playing once again. We have seen him, though, already playing close up with teammates covering him. Kenyes has been a great help in that regard. With Happy on AWP, hopefully he can do the same.
A good nade set up by NBK, but he's in a really awful position. Somehow gets a 1 versus 1. Cannot withstand the aggression of Edward, though, as he charges down the yard. Nice shot there onto Happy. As Edward goes for another engagement, Apex comes into the fray, though, to deal with him. And now it's a 3 versus 3. Nade sailing into the back, and that's going to find a bit of damage there onto flamie. But these positions are now taken up in towards the secret area by Na'Vi. They want a really strong setup. They do have a Molotov, but no, the Molotov player's down. Great approach coming in here, but Zeus is exploding back into the bomb site to deal with these oncoming CT players of the French side as that bomb ticks away, and kioShiMa needs to hit this shot, but no! He misses the shots, and he might not get another opportunity there. This is way too difficult, way too much time has been expended in this engagement, and kioShiMa is going to have to try to retreat and save the AWP, as Zeus knows now that his job has been done.
The AWP goes into the next round. Looking at the face of Guardian in the pistol round, look at him now. He is enjoying himself. They are all having a jolly in the Na'Vi booth, whereas Envy, the pressure has to be mounting. They still have 0 on the scoreboard at the moment. On the CT side, this is a disaster. Their economy is in a disastrous situation as well. How can they stop the rots? They've gone for the force. Apex has 1,000 in the bank, as Happy has 1,500, so they've got a limited amount of nades, and it seems that Na'Vi perhaps going for a fast break. NBK will have heard a number of people coming in his direction. Again, it's NBK and Happy on the B bomb site. They don't have the range advantage to cover NBK that they would if kioShiMa was in position, as we have seen him previously when they played Train.
Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting to see how EnVyUS develop from this point forward, because they're actually losing a lot of rounds already, and NBK's not had the best setups to do solo B with. Either way, we're going to see now a camera, floaty cam, towards the alley area, which there will be a challenge on, and kioShiMa does have the angle. There's a bait lasers play set up, potentially by Seas and flamie. Get one to jump across, and the peek can come in. Cursory grenades thrown over as well. That's a double peek, in fact, using the dumpster there. And boom, there it is. Great pick there for Na'Vi, and now they can initiate the mid-round play.
That caused a bit of a rotation from Happy, but he's not going to commit all the way out of the B-bomb site. Again, saw Na'Vi the previous round, they all bombed it towards the B-bomb site, then eventually went for the push. This time they did the same, but then moved away, trying to make Envy over-rotate. He's going to charge through the Molotov, but is he going to catch the player? He just about is. Apex with a flashbang, doesn't get it out in time, and down the EnVyUS players goes. Again, this was a force by them. They haven't got a single frag. NBK's left all alone in the B-bomb site. The guy who's the first line of defense in the B-bomb site is the last line of defense in this round, soon to be dispatched of as well. Can Envy keep the temperament? Can they keep their focus?
Yeah, it really seems like momentum is strongly with Na'Vi at the moment. And the worrying thing, I would say, for EnVyUS as well, is that the players of Na'Vi, usually, it's like 1 or 2 players that are, playing well. Maybe it's your Guardian and flamie, depending on the map, or your Guardian and your Edward. Always Guardian, of course. But at the moment, everyone from Na'Vi is actually playing really well. So this is going to be tough to stop. There's no doubt about that. But we do have a bit of a quasi-buy here for EnVyUS. They really need damage here. Oh, not quite able to pull the trigger a second time. NBK out of the picture as Guardian picks up the frag. And 5 versus 4 now as Na'Vi know what they're up against. Just some pistols.
1 down, 4 to go. See if they can bowl the rest of them into the back. Many Molotovs on the Na'Vi side to help them with their approach. Guardian just going for a bit of a dirty peek, but his positioning is good. Not revealed himself to Happy just yet. Almost teasing an elbow, an arm. Going for it now, and he finds the frag. Not even touched. 2 kills for Guardian so far. Holding an angle towards connector now. Double peek with Edward there in position as well. That smoke coming down from the CTs will allow them to get into position, but they don't have much to offer really. kioShiMa alone with the deagle and not much else. Running through the smoke. Burst fire to finish him off. Insult to injury, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, that's just looking so strong. And I mean, one thing there is like how calm Edward was in some of these initial engagements. Like he missed his first burst or 2 with the AK, but he's so calmly just repositions his reticle and just gets to the frag. It's very calm and confident from Na'Vi at the moment. EnVyUS, we know that they can bring it back pretty hardcore whenever, if they get the opportunity to do so, and now could be one of those opportunities. Double up again. Can they make it work this time?
back on the buy, back with the nades, back with the double orbs. The French side, Na'Vi been playing a good game with double peaks, looking to trade worst case scenario. The similar setups coming here towards Ivy. Will kioShiMa go for the peak once again? He's got smokes, he's got HE, he's going to play the safe game now. And that's such a deep smoke that they can throw nades behind it. NBK though has been taken down with a P250. C's has been solid so far in this tournament, and that is not a good start for Envy. Down to 2 orbs and M4, they can get a lot of work done with these, but if Na'Vi go for a fast push together, they might not have the versatility with the orbs to stop a rush into the site, and they don't have the numbers anymore. Happy and Apex. Na'Vi charging towards a 0-8. Guardian with the shoulder peek there. Happy unable to punish. Nothing's working for Envy. Are we going to get a tactical pause in soon?
I mean, it's really weird. I mean, for example, let's just look at that kill from Guardian onto Happy just there. What is Happy thinking? Jumping straight, like just a straight jump into the angle where, you know, he just had an AWP. I don't know if that's okay, you know, if he accidentally pressed jump, if he really meant to do it like that, but he's going to have a lot of hang time, and Guardian's one of the fastest guns in the West.
He can't get back up there unless he jumps, but does he jump up back up
Yeah,
there?
but you should never do that, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you've got Guardian there.
But it's Happy, that's what he does. He has W, there's no D.
Well, the interesting thing is that previously it was the defensive prowess of Apex and NBK, which were the 2 big performances that really vaulted the EnVyUS lineup.
There's no S, because D would send him to the right there, but S is backwards. There's no S. I'm sure there is a D. I'm not going to check myself.
You just wanted to say D.
I'm not going to check myself, of course.
Either way, I mean, what do you think? What do you interpret this to be? Do you interpret this just to be a bit of a breakdown within EnVyUS, or do you think it's just it's mostly about how well Na'Vi are playing and the fact that they've not given many opportunities so far for EnVyUS?
I think it's easy to say that the team who are losing are failing all the time, right? That's the go-to. That's the easy one. Not to say that's not the case, but what I'm focusing on is the way Na'Vi are working together. Like with 2 rounds in a row, we've basically seen the same double peak. Towards Ivy, for example. It worked the first time. kioShiMa tried to adjust the second time, then sees kill someone through the smoke. There's not a lot you can do about that.
That's one of those things that just like happens, doesn't it? It's just, well, what do I do? I mean, you can't really do anything against that. That's just luck of the draw.
I mean, for me, like the smoke was so deep that I think it would be worth throwing a HE if there was one, because they have such limited time to deal with it that you might get some value out of that. But again, you can get shot through the smoke while throwing that HE. So. What do Envy change here? I mean, you saw them try on Cobblestone to aggressively take the main, for example, towards the plateau, and so on, to try and cut off parts of the bomb site. I don't know how much they can really do with that. Maybe we'll see them trying to push through T-main on this map. Like often you see people try and control it with smokes and flashes, but sometimes you see people, you know, put a guy in there, which will make things harder for Guardian. We've seen him AWPing from that position before, so. For the rounds where they do have some utility on their CT side, perhaps they can get a pop flash in there and try and put someone in there. I wouldn't recommend going up pop, because that's probably going to end up in death more times than not.
Yeah, it's a pretty hard call at this point, but we're about to see the action. And back to the booth. And back to the action. We have the Kosi buy from EnVyUS again. They're on a max loss bonus, of course. And here we go, bit of damage in. Apex with a fast frag onto flamie, the trade. And it's actually kind of hard for Na'Vi to get out of the yard. And Edward making a difference, though. He's able to give a lot of space to his team, as now Guardian is now unleashed, let out of the gates, uncaged. And he is ruthless. NBK, though, fighting back for a moment, picking up the AK. Unfortunately, there were no bullets, and that sucks. But he will be able to do a bit of damage, but he will go down. And, well, that's kind of how the round was always going to go.
Even though Envy are 0 to 9 down, they're still giving themselves, you know, the high 5 slaps, trying to keep the good spirits in the booth, which is important, and that's good to see. So no tactical pause just yet. Got the full buy coming in, the double ops again. So let's see if they're going to go and try and take a bit of aggression, but they're not going to be given the chance, because Na'Vi are going to have 2 people out of A main immediately. And that's an angle where generally the CTs can get a peek on there from connector first. But there we go, Happy getting the first kill. kioShiMa moving into position. May not know that there's somebody just around the corner though. flamie, can he punish Na'Vi are 2 men down here, but there are very heavily tagged players on the CT side, and there's one of those nades I'm talking about in the reverse direction, but it does the job for Na'Vi.
Yeah, so Na'Vi need to get out of the yard now. They're going to try to do so. As he's trying to entry, shut down by kioShiMa. And that's going to be an issue. The bomb can't get out of the choke point too easily there. flamie is going to get the support from Seized, but Seized's efforts are put to a halt. As now flamie tries to work his magic, but being 1 versus 3 is not easy on this bomb site or any bomb site.
Have a look at his money though. He's got 10,000 in the bank, so absolutely worth him trying to do as much damage as possible. Even with that kill, NBK has 3.5k in the bank, so you can see the economical difference between these two teams now. If Na'Vi win this round, EnVy's loss bonus gets reset. They get 1,400 on top of whatever money you're seeing here, which means life is going to suck, Dan. They're going to have no ketchup on their hot dogs, no relish on their bratwurst.
Yeah, I mean, dare I say that if they lose this round, then if they get reset,
there will be no cheese in a baguette, Dan.
Yeah. Sans fromage.
Foie gras will be a myth.
So here we go. Let's see if EnVyUS can bring themselves back into this. They have to. This is a must-win round if they get reset. Na'Vi are going to have such an insane advantage on rounds. It's going to be almost impossible for EnVyUS to come back. Now, again, as James mentioned, you were seeing the double peek. You can't see on the camera, but on the minimap, there's a double peek going on towards the alley once again. And it has been a dynamic that now EnVyUS have decided to say, okay, we're going to send Kenny S now to do that job. So they've made an adaptation in positioning to try to account for this. And Na'Vi aren't finding anything on alley just yet. And it has been a bit of a gold mine for them for early round advantages previously. But EnVyUS with their passive play are going to be forcing Na'Vi to just make a play soon because Na'Vi are running out of time.
Na'Vi running out of time is the perennial story. It is the law of the Na'Vi side. Just starting to emerge through Ivy, trying to get a pick, but EnVy are not giving them the picks. And there we go, kioShiMa playing close to main, which could be important. Edward holding an angle there, 30 seconds left as Na'Vi start to emerge. Have EnVy identified what the plan is yet? You've still got Happy deep in the B bomb site. They have no idea what's going on. And look at Caesar's position. Down goes Kenny. Yes, is there a trade? There's no trade. 3 players down. The entire A side is open. And Na'Vi have done it. 15 seconds left. The bomb's surely going to go down. The choke point is smoked off. And EnVy indeed will have no cheese for their baguette stand.
Okay, so Na'Vi, they put everything up to chance. They just Na'Vi things, right? They, as you said, they leave it to have like 15 seconds left to plant the bomb, and by the time they plant the bomb, there's like 10 seconds left. What if one of those players dies and the bomb gets just a little bit delayed? That's the round over.
Welcome to Na'Vi, buddy. Welcome to Na'Vi.
They just get 3 immediate kills. What happened for EnVyUS to not be able to even make good of one of those engagements? That's crazy.
For those of you who don't have any cheese for your baguettes at home, the good alternative is honey on top of some butter. So do with that what you will.
Blech.
In the meantime,
sounds horrendous.
EnVyUS are going to have 2 rifles from what little money they had on top of that loss bonus.
Wow. The
smoke is 3 gangster. 5.7s. Indeed it is. It stops them from being able to peek that position, but NBK is smart enough to react, and the trades are going the way of the CTs despite their limited utility. They've got a man advantage here. We'll see if they can pick up a rifle a bit later on. The bomb is down, and Happy's willing to just stand here and hold the angle. He might have a double peek at the same time. He's going to go down to Guardian. Advantage to Na'Vi. Only kioShiMa remains, and we are looking at a whitewash first half there.
Yeah. No, wow. Nice shots by kioShiMa. Can he get the last? No. It's going to be seized. Picking up that kill, kioShiMa trying to do something incredible, but stopped at the last hurdle, and now it's going to be, as you said, a pretty damn crazy strong half for Na'Vi. There's no way they're not going to be finishing on like 12 or 13 rounds at this point. And oh my goodness, of course, the T side is a little bit easier, but is it this kind of deficit easier? I wouldn't say so. Another force up from EnVyUS. They're just trying to get rounds posted now. They don't care about their buy anymore.
Indeed, there's no turning back for them now. They have to buy. They have to spend like they won the lottery. They definitely haven't, looking at what they have in the bank. Guardian up close. It's going to finish NBK with no emotion. And it's another round where we're seeing Envy eliminated 1 by 1. They've got 1 kill so far. We can't count them out based on what kioShiMa did in the previous round. Almost getting around for his team. 1 round would double the score of Envy, which is a pretty sad sight when we're on round 13. You can hear the support for the Na'Vi players. Down goes kioShiMa. Kenyes, is he soon to follow? Shallow graves for the Envy players on train.
This crowd is very hyped for Na'Vi. Nice.
That
Na'Vi
jumper is
hoodie
far
over there.
too big for that guy.
It is, isn't it? Maybe he's wearing. Maybe he likes to wear loads of stuff under it, James.
We may never
In
know
which
that.
case it would be suitable.
12-1. We will see what Envy have to offer us in terms of weaponry. kioShiMa limited down to a scout. Again, the 5.7s, the CZs on the Envy side. They said they had a new approach, but it seems to have been figured out very quickly by Na'Vi.
Na'Vi just winning all their, like, every engagement just goes their way, all the important ones. Because, you know, the important ones are the ones that give you the positioning and take space away from the other team. Those are the important kills. That's what an entry kill generally is going to refer to, entering into an area. So here we go. Yes, going very close with that 5-7. Gets caught by the spray of Seas. Once again, this guy proves that he is the king of the smoke kills.
I'm fairly certain he would have heard that nade collide with Kenyes and give the game away there for Kenny. Very unfortunate for him.
Yeah, it's a really, really tough ask now for EnVyUS. Do they take a risk? Do they just sit tight? That's the problem with Train. You can't really easily push as the CTs. And boom, quick flash. Seas delivers kioShiMa from this world. Sends him straight to the next. And right now, James, it looks like, unless EnVyUS can scrap together something in this round, they're going to have an unceremonious exit to this best-of-3, more so than Zinedine Zidane.
Na'Vi have no answer. Sorry, Envy have no answer for the coordination of Na'Vi, and they, the way things are going now, they can't afford any answers. They have what, 1 rifle per round at the moment. It is a dire situation indeed. Almost every Na'Vi player is basically on 16k at the beginning of the round, just topping up on the nades, with the odd person who goes down having to rebuy. So we're into the last round. Envy with a UMP, 2 FAMASs and 2 Deagles. They have quite a reasonable amount of nades on this occasion, but can they use them for any aggression? Again, you've got Apex moving towards main. Now this is the kind of positioning that could have benefited them a long time ago, but again, Na'Vi have often been very fast out of main. When there's an AWPer, for example, with a good position on the CT side, they get the angle from connector into main faster than the Ts can get there, but these things haven't been able to pay off here for the Envy side, as they have been devoid of finance, devoid of rounds, devoid of victory.
Absolutely. NBK is trying to do so much with so little. He's trying to play risky and trying to catch his opponents off guard with how he decides to position himself. But it's a lot to ask, and he's going to go for just a little bit of a pop flash information play, as Na'Vi are playing this really slowly. I mean, that is Na'Vi in a nutshell, indeed. But yeah, the push is brewing, and it's about to be ready as flamie will initiate the proceedings into the A side of the map.
kioShiMa's doing what he can. Another 2 quick frags for him. We've seen that before. So Envy might come out with the last round yet. The bomb's gone down as well. There's half a minute for Zeus to find 4 players, and he has got 3 people peeking him at the same time, trying to use the door to do what he can, but he is going to be eliminated. 2 rounds on the board for Envy. If they get the pistol, then perhaps something can be done. I do believe NBK was looking at some demos before and took some notes on his phone, which is probably what he's looking up now, to see what the plan is for the second half. They must win a pistol down, otherwise there's going to be a celebration, bitches, in Minsk.
Yeah, you look how happy. Like, Na'Vi got to be careful, because Guardian's smiling a lot. I don't want that to be the smile of a player that thinks he's already won before the penny is dropped.
Envy are a team who are never beaten. Oh, that... the cameraman on the stage, who's on one of those wheelie things, is scaring me because he's going right to the edge of the stage.
I don't know how he does that.
I thought he was going to be no more.
And he goes backwards all the time as well, on the stage. It's insane.
He is all over the shop.
It's crazy.
He is all over the shop. So the kills are quite well spread out on the CT side here. Everybody contributing, but again, the coordination of Na'Vi has had no answer from EnVy. But the countdown is beginning. I'm sure the crowd are going to get hype again once we get into the second half. Again, this is must win. Pretty much every round. I think the next 10 rounds, 8 to 10 rounds, are all must win for EnVy.
Okay, well, it's the pistol time. It is pistol time. Na'Vi playing as pretty much everyone plays a CT pistol. There's not too much variation you go with on this map. And it's all about EnVyUS's approach. They've got a couple players towards Ali, a couple on Pop Dog, one on team main. So it looks like a triple-pronged attack into the A bomb site with the bomb making its way from Pop Dog. Now, for Na'Vi, it's all about connecting those long-range headshots and stopping the Glocks from closing the distance. That's where the Glocks are strong. Let's see if Na'Vi can pull it off.
Potential triple peek coming in. That meaty smoke to deny Zeus. Also to isolate any crossfire. We're going to have a procession of EnVy players. It's going to be a B split. They're going to just surpass all of these players on the A bomb site, and then the rotation is going to be a bit weird unless Na'Vi can get there fast enough. NBK and Kenyesto with 2 super fast frags. The bomb is still lurking towards B bomb site, so Na'Vi don't really know exactly what shenanigans are going on, but they're banking, or what's left of them banking on it being a B play here. There's another flank coming in, and Na'Vi are all over the place at the moment. Not really sure what's going on. The Guardians made it a 2 versus 1. Gets himself a little solo engagement. Sorry, it's 2 versus 2. Zeus coming in here for support now. Guardian down to 1 HP. Zeus has a kit. There's no molly on the T's here, despite one going upper. kioShiMa's dueling on his own at the moment. That might not work out for him. Zeus is chasing. Where is Guardian in the meantime, though? Zeus running out of bullets now, down to 13 HP. Guardian found the frag onto kioShiMa. Zeus can go for the defuse, but can Guardian make the engagement? Happy is positioned to take down Zeus first, and there's a headshot. They haven't done it. They had such a good start to that pistol round, but Nav, you've taken control.
That engagement by Apex, I mean, that should have been a shut-up from the position that EnVyUS had. They had won that round. That was a 1 round. It was thrown away with some poor engagements, and Apex was the prime amongst those over by Connector. He has such a strong position, and now it's going to be very difficult for EnVyUS because they have just been put to a position where they have to win the force buy. I mean, again, it is EnVyUS. And if there's going to be a team that's in that position, you can like their chances the most. But against an RV who are on fire as they are right now,
to have such a strong advantage and lose that pistol.
Yeah,
I saw signs of defeat in the EnVy booth.
Yeah,
it's hard. How could you not? I mean, at this point, it's got to be natural. But again, if they can get things back here, if they can get some momentum in their favor, then those moods could change once again. Never over until it's over with the EnVy side. I don't know if there's a team you can say that more for in Counter-Strike.
Oh, yeah. And we have some pre-nades here from Na'Vi, so they're actually going to be using most of their grenades already. But the other key thing is that Guardian's on the AWP straight away again. That's kind of nuts, to have that AWP out so incredibly quickly. And EnVyUS just waiting and just waiting and waiting. Eventually they'll go for an execute on the yard. We're about to see some of the nades be thrown over. I believe they have a lot of smokes to play with. They've got 4 smokes, a Molotov, bunch of flashes. And what they need to be able to do is not only get the bomb down, but of course they have to win the round. So they need to be able to put themselves in positions where they force CTs to move, which is getting the bomb down, and secondly, close the distance with those pistols.
They need to get as close as possible. They need the one tap. They've got the aim. They just need the range, and it's starting to move into that range. And here we go. Guardian is going to be a problem, though. He's on the site. He's looking for Happy's position now. Edward on the actual site itself. It's going to help. 2 headshots for the T side, though. They're not out of this just yet. There's Apex with another one. Picks up an M4 now. Down to a 2 versus 2. Some wild spray through the smoke, and flamie coming in for the flank. He might find Apex here. He's going to get the angle very quickly, leaving Happy in a weird position. He's behind the smoke, running out of bullets. Got a chance to reload now. flamie is 1 dig away. Oh, no, he's not. Down to 7 HP. Happy. Next bullet might win. Although flamie will need a headshot here because he doesn't have the HP. He'll get the spray. Happy misses the shot. 2 massive chances for EnVy have both gone down. And we might be at the end of the road here.
Another spot where Happy made the right play, just couldn't connect that bullet. He only had 1 shot, 1 opportunity. But it didn't happen, and EnVyUS, it seems like generally to be the trend for them here against Na'Vi. Na'Vi just a little bit more lucky, a little bit better. in this series so far. And now on EnVyUS, again, of course, they have to force buy. It is match points, series point here. Na'Vi would be moving forwards in the tournament to those juicy finals. Now, what is EnVyUS going to be planning here? Looks like they are just going to go with fast play into the yard again, just get the nades in. And once again, it's the same. It can be a very similar round as the last.
There is good news for Envy in that the AWP did not survive the previous round, but that might be a spotted bomb. Indeed it is. Look at the rotation of the CT players. They're all gravitating towards that bomb like a magnet. And the Envy players are all together now, but that might not work because they're up against the rifles. Apex and Kenyesto doing what they did in the previous round, but can they get more done? Zeus almost gets a two-man. He's still alive here. He's got multiple opponents, so down to C's now. 15 HP versus NBK and kioShiMa. They've both got helmets, so it's not going to be easy. And Seized has been heard by kioShiMa, who's just going to hold an angle now. Bit of shoulder peeking going on there. That's going to give NBK time to plant the bomb. kioShiMa coming down. Envy must win every single round, or they are out, left in a cold Minsk to walk around in the snow.
EnVyUS were drowning in that round, but kioShiMa dived into the water like Hasselhoff, saved all of them with those deagles shots of his, because that was just sublime stuff, and it's going to give them another opportunity, but they're playing for an overtime in which they need to win 12 rounds in a row to achieve.
Another
That's
factor
ridiculous.
for Envy now is a psychological one, something we saw with Cluj as well. When one team started to get close towards victory, the crowd started standing outside the booth, and they're doing that right now. There are about 100 fans standing in front of both Na'Vi and EnVyUS's booth. So you have to wonder, they hear the death knell, and Zeus is going to go down to the flames. We've lost 2 players here for Envy. C's almost taking down a player through the smoke there. Only down to C's now. I say only, but he has got himself quite a few kills already this map. But those shots will reveal his position. Bomb gets planted safe. Down to 10 HP now, and Envy should get another round in the bag here. kioShiMa just about doing it. Surviving with 3 players. Maniac needs to keep them motivated now, needs to keep their minds in the right place, needs to keep their focus on their screens, not the people standing outside the booth waiting for that 16th round.
Yeah, I mean, of course, they want to make it the longest wait those fans have ever had in their lives, these French players. But the problem is that they don't have any time to work out how the defense is. All that preparation NBK's done, that's going to have to be golden. And it looks like Na'Vi will go for an aggressive play up alley. It's going to miss the mark this time around, and that's going to be good news for EnVyUS because it's a full eco for Na'Vi, so they don't really, there's no real value apart from just the $300 bonus for a kill in even killing the players. So the bomb goes down, and it should be pretty clean here for EnVyUS. Again, they don't have to go for kills. They don't have to go for that risk. And there's an AK given away to Zeus. How much more damage can be done?
They went for a pretty solid eco here, the CTs, so they should have good money. Worst case scenario would be if Kenyes loses his AWP to the CTs here. I don't know if his current position to save is safe, but he can run to the other side of the B-bomb site and save over there. Does he have time, however? I don't know. We will see. Is he going to survive? I'm sure he knows better than I do. He's still standing there. Indeed, he's okay, but they're still being hunted by CTs, and we may not see the result of that. I think they are okay. So, Na'Vi, I expect, will be on the buy now. We will see what they have to offer. And again, curious to see if they're going to try and control the main position, get some smokes down there, some flashbangs. Or if they'll choose to be passive towards the back of the A area.
Yeah, the double AWP out of Na'Vi is going to be pretty, it could be very, very damaging. Now, EnVyUS going for a fast play. There's the first shot. It will land onto kioShiMa. That's him out of the rounds, sent to the bench.
They took that fast connected position looking into main that we didn't see from Envy, and it's paid off for them straight away, but the trades are coming in here for Apex down to 4 versus 4. The site's split in half at the moment.
Yeah, 3 players here for Na'Vi. They're stuck behind these choke points. Zeus is going to burst out of one, taking down NBK in the process, but still the rest of his teammates, they're kind of locked away. They're going to have to go a long way around. The bomb only just now planted. Now EnVyUS looking to try to get some safe positions, but sees to actually catch Apex before he can move to a safe.
Whoa,
what was that? What a play there from Zeus. What a snap from the AWP. That was phenomenal work, and that's going to make a massive difference. Now Happy has to clutch 1 versus 3, or Na'Vi will move forwards to the finals, and EnVyUS will be eliminated on map 2 between these two sides as the defuse comes in. And can Happy get the spray? Oh, just about, but he's going to go down in the process, and Na'Vi.
Have they got time? Have they got time?
They don't. There's no kit.
Oh, it's
Looks
going to
good.
be a close one.
Looks good.
Extra 5 seconds.
Boom,
and they're
there
going
it
to
is.
do it. 16 rounds. The bomb goes off on the stage regardless. But it's definitely Na'Vi who have taken the match there. Envy are going home. They're not moving an inch in the booth at the moment. Got to be a bit shell-shocked at the scoreline there.
Guys, so right now we know the team that will play the final after second game. And this is Natus Vincere team, Na'Vi! Right now, I want you, everybody here on the tribunes, to show our respect to the team EnVyUS. Please, applause. They were so close, but as always, the best team are winning. Right now, small interview, short interview with the Guardian. Also, I want to introduce you, Smix, one more time, please. Applause.
All right, well, thank you very much, Stefan, and congratulations, Guardian. I spoke with you yesterday, and you said it would mean so much if you guys were able to make it to the grand finals, as you guys are the lone CIS representative among the Counter-Strike teams here. So making it to the grand finals, how much does it mean to you?
It means a lot, especially in CIS region and first event of the year. Yeah, it means a lot.
And you made it to the grand finals with a 2-0 victory over EnVyUS, and it was especially impressive because that first map was Cobblestone, and everyone knows that Cobblestone is one of EnVyUS's best maps. But I heard a rumor that you guys did a lot of studying on Cobblestone and EnVyUS VODs and things like that. So in your studying, what did you discover, and what do you think really helped you guys capture that victory?
Well, we knew completely how do they play, but we couldn't counter it somehow. We just took 5 rounds as CT. But we knew that we have some good rounds on T-side, and we knew that it's mostly T-sided map if you have enough experience. So we knew that we can come back on the T-side and win the game.
And obviously, you guys were able to win the second map on Train as well. It was a really dominant start from you guys. At one point, did you think, wow, this is it, we made it to the grand finals?
Well, the second map is one of the best maps, and we lost to them on Major, and we knew that we wanted this train, so yeah, we just picked it and it happened.
Now, in the grand finals, you'll be going up against Fnatic, kind of a final boss for you guys. You guys actually went up against Fnatic 17 times in 2015, and you were only able to beat them twice, and those were both online matches, so obviously this is kind of a difficult match for you guys, mentally at least. So about going into the grand finals against Fnatic, do you think that maybe you can get some advantage from the fact that you will have the fans cheering for you?
I don't think so. It's some advantage against Fnatic. And I'm quite happy playing Fnatic once again, and I hope it will go our way. So yeah, I'm quite happy that they won the game against Luminosity, and hopefully it will be our win tomorrow.
All right, and last but not least, Guardian, I want to give you a chance to say something to all the fans that have been waiting around. They're all crowding around, looking at you very lovingly, and there's also a lot of fans that have been cheering for you online as well. So I want to give you this time to talk to them.
I just want to say thank you for all, even though not everyone could stay here because of the age thing. So thank you for believing in us, and hopefully we will win tomorrow for you.
All right, well, congratulations again, Guardian. That will, of course, mean Na'Vi moves on to the grand finals to face Fnatic. And, of course, Stefan is going to do an interview in Russian with our last Na'Vi opponent that's on stage. But in the meantime, it will be Sadikis that will be wrapping up their English stream over at the analyst desk. So back to you.
E-gaming bets. We accept bets on computer games online since 2011. Referral system for regular users and the first deposit bonus. Gaming devices store and the best choice of payment systems. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, Counter-Strike and StarCraft, World of Tanks and League of Legends. EGB.com. You know for sure who's going to win.
Do you have extra CSGO skins? Do you want to win really cool things? Visit CSGOFast.com. Place your bets and win really cool skins. CSGOFast.com. Check your fortune.
Well, Guardian may not think those fans are going to have that much of an effect tomorrow, but it seems like they certainly wanted to get things done in time to at least celebrate with an audience tonight, because everyone's still here. They got done quite quickly, that map against Envy.
Yeah, quite quickly. I'm not really sure where to begin with this one. It just seems like the CT sides for EnVyUS right now are complete disarray. Once again, we see them lose the pistol and go, after we saw on Cobble how badly it affected their economy with the double force buy, they do it again. Can you guys think that as to any logical reason why force buying on the third round after losing your initial force buy? Can you think of anything that justifies that?
I mean, it's just EnVyUS things.
Yeah.
You know, as we mentioned previously, they love to go for those force rounds, and every time they have a chance to reset the opponent's economy, they will go for it. And I said that when it comes to EnVyUS, I'm okay with that most of the time, but it's on Cobble and Train. Those are the two maps where you need all of your resources, where you need all of your smokes, flashes, molotovs in order to hold back the Ts. And they just shot themselves in the foot early on. You know, they give again a 4-0 advantage to Na'Vi. After that round, crazy clutch round by Zeus, where KennyS missed a lot of shots.
That was a defining.
I think at that point, I just said this game is over, basically, because that has such a, you know, mental impact on the team as well. You're down 6-0 at that point on city side Train, and after that we just saw Seized as well going ham in that Ivy area just over and over again.
You have to look on the EnVyUS side of things and think of this. Like, the logical thing in CS would be if you have some of the best riflers in the world, just put a rifle in their hands, put them in the spots that they're comfortable in. That'll be how you kind of get them out of a funk. No, they did the opposite. They just kept doubling down, until eventually, at that point, I guess when you've forced 5 times in a row, just do 6, I guess. At that point, yeah. I mean, you've basically thrown the entire game away. So, put it this way, it's very rare you can ever lose an entire game on one half, because it's supposed to be impossible, but they'd already lost that game.
Is this a case of NBK trying to overcompensate as the leader? Like,
I have to say, this whole thing about what we've built up about Maniacs coming in, NBK's the new in-game leader, this was not a good showing here, guys, because the whole thing is, remember, one of the things about Maniac is he's not supposed to initially come in and have all the tactics and all that. NBK's doing that. Supposedly, Maniac's supposed to come in, he knows KennyS, he knows Apex, he knows Happy. He's supposed to come in and kind of like cool people down and like, oh, listen, Kenny, it's not going for you right now, let's put you over here, mate. I mean, I'm sorry, mate. We didn't see any of that in this round. In fact, they looked worse than I've ever seen. I've never seen EnVyUS or LDLC get wrecked like that. That was one of the most embarrassing loss I've ever seen from an elite level team.
13-2 on your CT side of D-Train. Like, what? I don't even know how that begins to happen. But
and when you add it all cumulative together, I think the stat was something crazy. Like Na'Vi had gone like 28 out of like 30. Well, let me think. I think it was like
32 rounds, I think.
30-something rounds. It was absolutely ludicrous.
And the thing is, as well, you can see, I mean, I could tell starting from the pistol round on their T side, Na'Vi went for basically something of a rush towards the B side, a push for like that shock and awe tactic, which we don't see at all for Na'Vi. They're known for a slow play style. In that first like real gun round they had, they also went, you know, pretty quickly towards the B side, probably, you know, the game plan was to try and put pressure towards the B side early, so that Envy would, later on in the half be forced to play, to put 2 players towards that side, so that it could be easier for them to exploit the A side. But just everything went their way. Seized, as I mentioned, had an amazing performance towards that Ivy area, opening up that part of the map every time. Edward as well with a lot of entry frags. I mean, basically when you have Guardian, I think he had six kills, 7 rounds in, and 4 of those were in the first 2 rounds. He didn't even have to do anything in that particular game.
I mean, on one hand, listen, let's first of all say, obviously Na'Vi played very, very well. This is like close to peak form. They had 3 different players going really crazy off the. I mean, flamie actually just got to sit back and just go, that's cool. Just get riding along on the back of this truck here, watching everyone get wrecked. But let's be real. This should have been a close series. This was absolutely disgraceful from EnVyUS. This is like not the way that a team who's going to be a world champion is supposed to be playing.
How does the team that was the best in the tournament up until this point come out that flat? Is there a contributing factor that, they had a day off? Is it...
They can't
they hit a level the other day that they shouldn't hit? Like, what was going on?
It seems like they can't handle the mentality on the T side of Na'Vi, like that slow-paced play. They're force buying into it. The thing about force buying into those rounds as well, Na'Vi are one of the most methodical teams going into it. They're not like someone like G2 who may throw away some of their anti-eco rounds by being a little bit too audacious, like pushing into sides 1 by 1 or something like that. Na'Vi will make sure they clean every single area out. They'll make sure they stick together. They're trading frags properly. You know how much they like to abuse that long timer as well. So for me, that was just the beginning. I can't believe it happened so much on the first map, and they allow it to happen. The exact same problem to happen on the train as well. It was just a really disappointing showing for them.
When these guys won the major, and they'd won 3 or 4 events at that point in time, I remember Richard, because he tipped them to be the #1 team, and they obviously did win the major. He'd said, like, oh, you know what, now that Fnatic's fallen off, can they do it? Can they be like the new Fnatic, and can they do that kind of a stretch, where you win like 12 tournaments out of 20 or whatever it is? Yeah. And I said, to be fair, you have to realize one of the crazy things about Fnatic was the mental fortitude those guys had. If they were down in a match, they took the time out, they stopped. If it was between maps, you could never just go, right, well, we wrecked them on map 1. Map 2, we'll definitely wreck them. No, every single chance they got, every little opportunity they took advantage of. This EnVyUS team, I mean, if we ever seen a weaker world #1 ranked team, I don't think I ever have, because normally, I mean, you think, okay, recently of a match that was similar to this, it was quite embarrassing, was TSM getting wrecked by NiP. TSM wasn't the #1 team in the world. TSM wasn't some team that had won the major and lots of... This is the team that are the reigning world champions of Counter-Strike, and they got utterly brutalized by a team that most people wouldn't have in the top 2 at the moment. So I have to say, yeah, fantastic play by Na'Vi, but this is really... I mean, I feel sorry for any newer fans of CSGO if they've heard the hype and maybe they saw this, like, oh, this event's going on in the arena, and they've come along and, oh, I've heard this EnVyUS team's really good. You didn't get to see EnVyUS here. This is not the EnVyUS team that won the major.
I brought up a few times with you this weekend. You just touched on it. This is ultimately the time when you would think Fnatic's starting to slip.
Yep.
Envy's time to shine. I brought it up a few times, how this tournament, the first one of 2016 with new lineups, at Lumi's new lineup, Luminosity's new lineup, Fnatic's new lineup, where's this tournament gonna weigh in your rankings? We thought about EnVyUS firmly staying as #1. Now we start to look, if this is the shape they're gonna go, you gotta think Maniac and NBK have gotta contribute. If not, I think Na'Vi and Luminosity are 2 of the better teams right now due to just tactics. And VP we haven't seen in a while, so we can't comment, but Envy, like, what are they...
I mean, the big
this
problem,
trend has to stop now.
The big problem here is I love having best of 3s in group stage because it gives you an extra flavor to the game. But at the end of the day, it's still in the group stage. So you can beat Fnatic all day long in group stages. Doesn't count. You have to win in playoffs. You have to win in finals. You have to leave with the trophy. You can be like, oh, we would have beaten Fnatic if you had... Mate, their trophy cabinet is getting full and fuller and fuller and fuller, and you're just sat back like, oh, if we'd have just got that other opponent. So, yeah, listen, it may turn out, by the way, that Na'Vi is some crazy kryptonite to EnVyUS, and something about the style doesn't work. But these excuses just, they don't hold water, because at the end of the day, Fnatic's the team going home with the trophies. And right now, Na'Vi is going to contend for it, but we've seen this story before, right?
Yeah, Henry, we'll get into some of the more finer details of it. Obviously, we've touched on the overview. Round 5, you wanted to bring this one to light.
I think this is one of the most important rounds. Obviously, this is where EnVyUS finally get a decent buy onto the board here. I think they get a double AWP setup rolling. So you feel like this is okay. They've had a huge detrimental start going into this, but they've recovered. They've got their best AWPers on. They've got Happy, Kenny S, both wielding the AWP here. So you assume, well, this round's going to be going in their favor. So we can see NBK here. He's playing the inside site by himself, all fine at the moment. Time ticking away. Na'Vi utilising their time as usual. They'll start making their way towards the inside bomb site. You can actually see them committing all 5 players at this point towards this inside site. NBK now just facing off the lower round, just trying to gain any intel he can whatsoever. No one rotating from EnVyUS just yet. Na'Vi just basically trying to get control of this upper platform area, just trying to see whether they can get set up for their execution. And he's going onto the bomb site there. And now you can see the CTs have got wind as to what's going on. So you can see there's a little bit of a rotation coming in. That's actually Happy rotating with the AWP as well. So here comes the execution. It's pretty basic, just flashbangs coming in, a few Molotovs onto the bomb site. Smokes do go down as well. NBK picks up the first frag, so actually looking in pretty good shape here.
I like the way he's casting this replay.
It's good, isn't it?
What's going to happen, Henry?
It really works.
It's disgusting.
Well, look at this. They've got themselves in a decent position. The bomb is down, but 3-on-3 situation still. We can see them. Here comes the retake. This is at the point, actually, they've forced the terrorists back. The smokes are down onto the lower ramp. They've isolated that one player onto the bomb site as well. That's such a key frag from kioShiMa as well. Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
this is round 11, so this was the other one. This was the one with the cut.
The key
You know,
moment
right
we
here,
want to
Henry,
talk
we
about.
could just do the casting
One thing I took away
right
from
now.
that is Henry G badly needs to cast an actual match game. Oh,
I was
brilliant. I wonder what's going to happen next round.
It was leading
I'm
up to
sorry,
we didn't even
Henry.
get to the crescendo of the round where it actually came down to the one-on-one. That was the exciting part.
That was the exciting part. Let's go
Jeez,
to round 11
What was the
now.
point of that then?
Let's go round 11.
You
This
were
is
into
where-
it, though. You were well into that there.
Anyway, the
I mean,
whole
I'm
thing
ready
is
to
it was a
get to the
huge,
play-by-play.
important round there. They threw away the clutch. Kenny S missed some really vital shots. We move on to round number 11. Now, at this point, it's 9-1 in favour of Navi. They've completely ran away with this game. And why did we point this round out
I
now?
think this is the one where they were not hiding. They were caught in the open.
No, it's
Oh, this is
because
from
they
Ivy,
just-
right? Yeah,
they just
the
walked
setup
out
here
alive.
is the setup's just horrendous at this point. For some reason, they just take all their attention away from Ivy, and Navi just come out and just can't believe their luck. They seem to get the easiest frags of their life. So
I mean, they shoot the first guy in the back as
I'm
well.
sure we need to work on our cuts here. We need to cut to the action
Like
straight
when
away.
you have nobody dead and CT, it should be impossible to get caught out like they get caught out in a second here. Literally, someone just walks
30
in
seconds.
and gets a free shot right into the back of someone in the main part of the outside side. Like at that point in time, it's that classic
This
thing
is-
of like, you're all looking at one spot right now, guys.
It just this round is supposed. I mean, this replay is supposed to show the level of disarray in the EnVyUS squad, and also shows what Zeus has done up until this point. He would always get a kill, even through the smoke and so on, and. Yeah, Henry?
Sorry, this is the point now. You can see there's no CT attention towards that Ivy area whatsoever. So
Like at some point, if you're the EnVyUS guys, you have to ask yourselves, I haven't seen anyone yet, so where are they? You can't just keep looking at the same wall. This actually makes me really think, by the way. Obviously, we couldn't see the faces of the players of every round. This looks as though when EnVyUS was getting wrecked, none of them talked. They just sat in silence and just played the game.
Look how easy
There's
these
no
frags are.
comms going on right now.
He's just got his back turned towards Ivy. He hasn't even got a player who's there watching the flank, the off angle, making sure that doesn't happen. It's just such a sloppy setup from the CTs there. There's no awareness as to what's going on whatsoever.
This is a perfect example of how you will get punished if you force buy early and it doesn't go your way. You could see that first replay at the beginning of it when we could see the money situation. EnVyUS, when they bought, they had no money at all. And all of the Navi players had around 5 or 6K in their bank. So even if they lost the first gun round, they would be able to buy at least for the next 2 rounds. And that's like very important for people to understand that when you're down 4-0 or 5-0 in a half, what you need is consecutive rounds. You need to win consecutive rounds in order to force the other team to go on an eco in order to pressure their money situation as well. Like this way, especially on a map like Train or on a map like Cobble, it's not enough for you to just win a round. You often see teams on their T side Train, let's say they're down 4-0, they win a round with only one person alive. Then in the next round they have basically no nades, and they're at a disadvantage at the freeze time point. Even before the round starts, they're at a disadvantage. They need something more or less extraordinary to happen in order for them to win the round. And what EnVyUS basically did, by continually force buying, they made the job just a lot easier for Navi, who is, as we already mentioned, an extremely tactically good team. So they will exploit that for sure.
And people like to bag on TQM, TSM when they do badly and they choke, etc. Listen,
This is as bad as
TQM,
it gets.
they had a pretty good game yesterday against Navi. They came close to coming through that series.
3-match,
EnVyUS just got utterly bodied here. I don't see TSM getting wrecked
Well,
like
if
this.
we go back to the first half of Cobble, it looked like EnVyUS were actually in the driving seat throughout the whole campaign. It was like Navi were lucky to get any rounds just because Guardian was stepping up so massively. That was the only reason they got any rounds on the board. And we go to the second half, and that first half, it just seems like a distant memory now. That team never arrived once again. We had 3 more halves after that. They just never came back
That's
to
why
life.
it feels like Tilt and then like not communicating are playing a role in it, because that's not the team we saw in that first half there. Yeah, that could have been a dominant, that could be like 13 rounds, and then that would almost be map,
Yeah.
But you see how once it turned, they never got control back again.
So moving forward, this does mean that 2016 will start as 2015 ended. In the fact that the first Premier Tournament ends the way the last one did, it will be Fnatic and Navi. Now, the last time we saw them, it was 5 maps. In 2, Na'Vi had it and could have closed it out, and I think should have closed it out, and Fnatic managed to pull their way back into that series. Let's preview tomorrow a little bit. How do we see this one going to end? Best of 3 this time, not best of 5, keep in mind.
I mean, obviously what makes this entertaining is the fact that this time what Na'Vi will have that they didn't have before is the pick ban phase. Because now they can do the 2 bans, and we know one of the few things Na'Vi has against EnVyUS and Fnatic is they actually have a better map pool overall than Fnatic. So I think this is very entertaining because to me, Fnatic really scraped and fought and had to use crazy skill to get through this matchup against the guys from Luminosity, and Luminosity came close to beating them, whereas Na'Vi overall, yeah, they did lose to Luminosity, but they've looked pretty good throughout the whole tournament. Their map pool looks really nice right now. I actually feel like the maps favor Na'Vi at the moment, but there's still some kind of destiny on the side of Fnatic. This new Fnatic team just wins. So
It's
I mean,
so weird that they're winning too, because it's not tactical CS.
I mean, I still feel like if I look at it, they've also got that champions trajectory where you can start off badly, but you just peak as the tournament goes on. And as long as you get to your best point at the final, everyone can say, oh, well, I could have beaten you earlier in the tournament. You didn't. In the final, we were at our best. We won the tournament. And at the moment, they're going like that. Na'Vi does look to be in the better form, though.
I would say that I agree with that, but what are your thoughts?
I agree. I feel that tomorrow's final is going to be more or less a replay of the 2 semifinals today. We will have a tactically strong team, Na'Vi, facing an individually very skilled team, Fnatic. So it will, again, I agree, the map pool favors Na'Vi as well, but the thing is, as you mentioned a couple of times, Fnatic has that, cheat option almost, that no matter which map they play, if their players turn up, they can, beat any opponent or any map. So I think that's the storyline for tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what we said about EnVyUS today. Like if Apex had turned up today like he did on the first showing, I think that's what EnVyUS would have had a really decent chance of taking the map today. Unfortunately for them, it seems like they're relying heavily on their big heavy hitters arriving, and when they don't, they obviously struggle. It's going to be more of the same tomorrow for Fnatic. I still favour Fnatic going forward. I think like their players can be stronger in these grand final scenarios. I think we've seen that time and time again, but definitely going to be the best game of the tournament. I think we've got 2, like Janko just said, 2 schools of thoughts, different methodologies going forward towards CSGO, so it's going to be an absolute banger, I think, and very difficult to predict, actually.
Well, we start tomorrow, as always, we share the stage with the Dota guys, EG, the most recent international winners going against the TI3 winners Alliance. That'll be a pretty awesome match as well. That's, I think...
EG's going to wreck Alliance. Don't worry about it, mate.
I think for those guys, it's best of 5 tomorrow as well.
No, I think it's best of 3.
Is it best of 3 as well? Okay, my mistake. So Dota stays with best of 3. That'll start things off. You might want to tune in, watch that. They're our Valve counterpart. We might as well support them as we can. And then we do kick off around 15 CET. It's Fnatic, and it is Na'Vi. It's going to be an absolutely riveting game. Na'Vi's chance for first blood in 2016 and revenge for how last year ended. Of course, thanks to our sponsors today, EGB, CSGO Fast, Twitch, of course, Twitch. The Score Esports, and I'm forgetting one today, and I don't know why I'm forgetting it this time.
G2A.
G2A.com. Fast as duck, quick as lightning, whatever their advertisement says. Thanks so much for joining us today, guys. We will see you tomorrow. It's going to be incredible. The stage is set, and it's going to be ripped away by either the home team or Sweden's going to steal another. We'll see you then.